welcome back to Pia Pops Off, a podcast where I talk about everything and anything, usually pop culture. And today we are picking back up where we left off, and that is recapping Summer House. And we are recapping Summer House with the usual suspect. What does that mean? I don't have one of my usual Bravo sleuths with us. So it's usually my besties, Jaleeza and Shirla, that recap Summer House with me. And unfortunately, we are missing one of our Bravo sleuths. Jaleeza had some work obligations to attend to today. So we will be without Jaleeza, but she will be missed, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. But we do have our other Bravo sleuth with us to enter the group chat, and that is Shirla. And I just know Shirla and I are going to get into it. Unfortunately, we're not going to have Jaleeza here to keep us on track because Jaleeza is our yin to the yang. She keeps us grounded. She keeps us centered and off of our tangents. And this might be a wild ride. We'll see. I'll try to keep us from going off of too many tangents, but I can't make any promises. And I mean, I don't think you want me to either. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But before we enter the group chat with Shirla, here's the Pia Pop Business that we have to attend to today. Like always, please, to support this podcast, can you do me a solid and hit that subscribe button? Hit the like button so we know, the algorithm knows that you are in support of Pia Pops Off. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you are informed when I drop a new episode, especially because we are getting into it about Summer House, so you don't want to miss it. Hit that notification bell. And also, please join our group chat. We encourage it. It doesn't matter if you agree, disagree. We want to hear from you. If you're a Bravo fan, if you're a Bravo historian, or if you are just new to Bravo, we still want to hear from you because we need all perspectives. So join our group chat. We've already been getting some people joining the chat, and we are eating it up. I love it. This is a safe space. You do not have to agree with us, but let me tell you, if you don't, we might fact check you. But also, you can come right back and fact check us, because if I have to change a perspective because you brought me some tangible receipts, I will, because I have no allegiance to anybody but them receipts, okay? So I had one more Pia Pop Business to attend to. Last episode, I have to make a bit of a correction. We were talking about, in our Pia Pop news segment, about Yolanda Saldivar, who murdered Selena, the singer Selena, in like 1996. She got denied her parole, but I said that there was this documentary that she was a part of, her and her family, and I said it was on the ID channel, Investigation Discovery. That is incorrect. The disgusting documentary was not produced by ID, so I'm so sorry to the ID network for putting that on you. It was actually produced by Oxygen, so you're really taking the air out of me with that one, Oxygen. So just had to make that correction. It was not the ID network. It was the Oxygen network, okay? So that's the only Pia Pop Business that I have to attend to. So let's just get right into it, and let's get into the recap of Summer House episode 8. Hello, and welcome back to Pia Pops Off. And you might be seeing that we are one Bravo sleuth short. I'm so sorry, but Jaleeza had some work business to attend to, which we totally respect. And maybe, when this podcast really starts popping off, she can quit her little day job and she can just do a whole podcast all the time and be able to make a living doing this. So that's the goal. So
especially since the stock market is plummeting.
So,
literally going downhill.
But we knew that this might be a possibility when we first started doing the recaps of Summer House. We mentioned that, we have lives and we have things that are going on. Of course, we love, doing our weekly pop-offs with you guys about Summer House. But, occasionally one of us might not be available. So, and we're having it happen the first time this week, but we have Shirla. So we're gonna do our best to make up for the fact that Jaleeza's not here. She's going to be missed.
I know, especially since this episode was so juicy. Honestly, because me and you can go on rants.
I know.
Jaleeza's like our person that just like helps settle us down, because me and Pia are always like, and another thing, and she's just like, let's bring the point in.
No, honestly, just from like editing and all that, it's so listening to it back, she really does help like get us back on track because we both can just, like you said, we can just both just go on tangents, which I love. But there is a reason why this has just worked so well. We all bring a different energy and it all works out. But you know what? Shirla and I will do our best.
We'll try.
We'll try, honey. We can't make any promises. Can't make any promises. But we'll try.
Who's gonna check us, boo?
You need to watch yourself before you get checked.
Who gonna check me, boo?
Anyway.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Not Jaleeza.
Not Jaleeza. Watch her start FaceTiming again. Like, I know you guys are on a tangent.
Right, I can hear you. I'm still in the group chat.
Exactly. But before we get into our episode recap of Summer House, episode 8, we've been starting off with like what has been really piquing our interest pop culture-wise during the week. And again, Shirla, if you have something that you saw that you would like to talk about, pop off about, feel free. I wrote down a few things. First,
I'm not getting into any politics, so that's the only thing that's been bugging me down.
No, I'm not doing politics.
Exactly. So it's like that. Outside of that, I've just been bravo, girly.
Yeah.
Up and down.
I agree. For me, I'm politicked out. So if you are wanting us to pop off about politics, there are a lot of podcasts that will, fulfill that for you, not us. I need to protect my mental. I don't want to get into it. This is for me, like, I love pop culture so much because at the end of the day, it's not that deep.
Yeah,
it's not that deep.
Culture.
Yeah.
It helps us to escape because America's falling off the bone as we speak, and we need to escape. We need to have some type of levity.
Yeah. So I hope this podcast is an escapism for you as well. This is just for us to, just to talk shit, guys. Come on. We all love talking shit. And this is a safe space. It's a safe space to talk shit. Okay?
Oh, wait. How do the new people do it? We millennials do this.
My millennial brain breaks whenever I try to do it, but I think it's like, oh my God, like look at my fingers trembling.
Why are you so nervous? It's one of these. Is it this?
No, it's not.
Whatever. Sorry. No, that's not it. Just stop. Nope. Don't even try. Stop it. Nope. Nope.
I don't know.
Okay. Yes. Back to this. This makes more sense.
Like, guys, like you guys, and they do it so quick too. Is it
literally
like this?
Quick.
I don't know how they do it.
Whatever.
I can't. Wait. I figured it out. It's this.
Which finger?
It's first? It's your index finger and your middle finger.
Oh. Whatever. I hate it.
Okay. Oh my God. I'm glad I got there. That breaks my brain. I'm sorry. Why did you guys do that? Why did you guys overcomplicate the heart?
Yeah. And why can't the phone be like this versus this? Like, it's just too much.
What is this? This is not a phone.
It's the iPhone, I guess.
I know what it's supposed to be, but like, this doesn't even feel like, do you feel satisfied by that? I guess you know what but you wouldn't do this because people don't even talk on the phone. You would do this.
Yes.
Because most people are either on speaker, either on speaker, like they're like this, they're talking, or they're like on a FaceTime.
But like, what if you want to be like very dramatic and hang up? Like, hang up like this is so much better than like,
You know what they do? You know what they do? They're like, so you have your phone and then you just throw it, you chuck it.
Oh, Schwartz did that one time.
That's what she did.
No, Jax, when Jax threw Schwartz's phone.
Too far.
Is that my phone? I need that.
Shut up, Tom. It's my phone.
Jax, just so you
It's
know.
my phone, Tom.
I'm getting it for you, dude.
Yeah, or it's either a chuck like that or full extension, or you smash it on the floor and hope you have a really solid case.
Oh my God.
But
we have a lot going on in our lives trying to figure out this or this or this.
But this is just like such a clean move. Like, this is a clean move. Heart, clean. These are clean moves.
We did grow up in the era of clean movements, cheerleading, all the things. Clear.
I was a cheerleader. Were you a cheerleader?
I was. Clear, crisp movement. So maybe that's why we're like, let's stick to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing going on in my brain right now. Sorry.
Well, there's only a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Beverly Hills reunion.
That's what it was. I wanted to tell you.
Part 1, aired a monstrosity. It was a clear gang up on Garcelle moment, and I wasn't here for it. It was full of like contradictions. Even like Kyle and Dorit, like, it's like, even though they're still beefing, it's very clear that this like Fox Force 5 thing, like, it's like underlying, like, we're gonna like still beef, but when it comes to like, they have like, it still has like this silent agreement of like bringing down like Sutton and Garcelle. Does that make sense?
To me, the difference is like when Kyle and Dorit go at each other, it's like all like semantics, right? So it's like, oh, you said that I never text you, but I did text you.
Yeah.
And then Dorit's like, but you texted PK before you texted me.
Right.
And when they go after Sutton and Garcelle, it's like character assassination. It's never, they always give each other the benefit of the doubt, but they never give Garcelle and Sutton the benefit of a doubt. It's always like, you did this to embarrass me, because that's what they would do.
Right.
And it's like, you have a problem with my relationship with Dorit, Bose had said to Garcelle. But meanwhile,
Bose said on the after show that Sutton and Garcelle were jealous.
Perhaps some jealousy, that I would find any interest in Dorit, given that perhaps I'm not finding as much interest in them.
We always made fun of your relationship with Sutton. And it's like, do you guys see the double standard? But Garcelle, it's like,
I do have to say, though, that I really appreciated when I met with Garcelle before we started filming, and I asked her, I was trying to get the tea, on everybody, and she said she wouldn't share because she said that she wanted my relationships to be my relationships, which I respected, because I was like, girl, tell me all the things. I want to know everybody. You know what I mean? And she wouldn't share it. And so I respected that. So when I came to Sutton's party, I think I was inspired by Garcelle's directive to be open to everyone. Yeah. And I think just basically what happened is that Dorit was open as well.
There's nothing wrong with you being friends with Dorit. But for years, everybody kept saying there's something wrong with my friendship with Sutton. And the whole point is like, there isn't a problem, but you guys made it a problem. And so now we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I'm sorry. I believe Dorit was like, I feel like Dorit has been full of microaggressions towards Garcelle.
Certain words, when you point them at me, it has a complete different impact. You have to know who you're dealing with. There are 3 words you don't say to Black women. You don't say aggressive, you don't say attack, and you don't say angry. Because that's labeling us. So I'm not here to educate you. That's not my job. I don't have the bandwidth to do it. But I feel like you need to be aware of who you're talking to and when you're talking to them and what you say.
And I know that the fandom always kind of tries to silence Garcelle every time she brings it up, in the cast as well. But I see it. I know a lot of my other people in the Black community see it. And microaggressions are so incredibly difficult to explain to someone that is non-Black.
exactly.
Even people of color. It is because especially Black women, have such a unique experience that it is incredibly difficult to explain to someone that is not Black, that is not Black and a woman, when you experience a microaggression. And it makes us not even want to explain it, because when we begin to try to explain it, you can start seeing people's faces not quite
the race card.
grasp exactly the race card. They're not quite getting it. And it kind of makes you feel a bit gaslit, as if you are overreacting. And it's so frustrating. And it's been frustrating to watch it happen to Garcelle, specifically from Dorit. And I do believe, and this is why we touched on this, and I'm not trying to go too hard on Bose, but Bose, like, allowing or co-signing some of these things, like, pretty much making it seem like Garcelle, I don't know, calling Garcelle out about things like, kind of like how Anne Marie had called her out, like, well, you let Sutton say this to me. I don't know. I feel like she's playing into some of the things that Dorit wants her to play into to justify some of her past behavior that Garcelle has called her out about.
It's almost like
she's weaponizing her.
Yeah, she's almost
like her Black girl weapon.
She gave Dorit a pass to go at Garcelle. She actually gave the entire cast a pass to go at Garcelle, and what she's not under. So this is where I'm kind of confused, because I know that Bose is not dumb, and she's been in corporate America for years, and I feel like she's trying to make Beverly Hills be her corporate America. So like when she let us in on the little nugget of Garcelle and I had a meeting and Garcelle didn't tell me anything, even though I wanted the tea. And so what she did is she watched the episodes. She saw that Dorit would be on an island by herself and would be the weakest link. And she was like, great, I'm going to team up with that and kind of use that as my advantage of getting in. And then, but unfortunately what she's doing, and I don't know if she's doing it on purpose or not, she's now being like, there is no need for Garcelle.
Yeah.
Like the way Garcelle did it was wrong, you know, where I need to assimilate and I need to act like I'm one of them. But it's like, you're not one of them.
Yeah, it feels like Bose because she is such a self-made woman. And there's a reason for that. I think she's very smart and she studies and she learns from others' mistakes. And I do believe she studied the mistakes that Garcelle made. And I believe a mistake that Garcelle has made was being entirely too loyal to Sutton.
And what did you say when she walked away after she told us what she told us off camera?
I think that Kyle wants to protect Morgan.
That's not what you said. You said that was a chess move.
The thing is with both of you, the two of you together are mean girls.
Because I think that was one of the isolating factors, at least for the majority of the cast, of why they have an issue with her. Because they don't like Sutton and Garcelle essentially being able to be able to say in real time what Sutton should be able to say for herself pisses them off. And time and time again, we've seen with the Fox Force 5, specifically with Kyle, because I believe she's the ringleader, that when they've decided to take someone down and someone steps in to make valid points and defend the person that they've decided to take down, then it shifts to, okay, well, then we'll take you down, bitch.
But my thing
and they did that with Denise.
Everyone was defending that it's normal to get glam before a workout.
No, it's normal.
No, you said, what do you do?
Said,
I want to get
why do you realize you don't let some people talk?
No, you talk now.
No, thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Please,
Go ahead.
because you talk at us sometimes, not to us, and you don't listen. Why are you judging? Who gives a if she wants to come all glammed up?
It rubbed me the wrong way that day. That's how I felt.
Why? Why do you judge that?
Because I had been working. I left my child.
All of us did.
And
I had surgery and I still showed up.
She 8 o'clock at night. We left the house at 6 in the morning.
Because I worked and
I was
showed
working
up.
too.
Okay, well, I worked that day and then I
actually
got
said
in the
you
car.
didn't.
No, I said I did.
You said you didn't. You told us later you didn't.
No. Really? Are we going to do this now, Kyle?
No, you said
really?
you didn't work.
Because she came in makeup and stuff.
She did.
No, I thought you told us honestly and that you didn't work.
I'm not doing this.
I understand you're getting annoyed right now, but I don't get that because I don't know if there was a different... You maybe had another story with him. I don't know that.
No, there's not another story. You just said that I said I wasn't working. That's bullshit.
I thought you weren't. I thought you weren't.
Oh, well,
I thought you
was.
texted us saying I could have gone. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
They did do that with Denise, but my thing with like the whole Garcelle being loyal to Sutton is like she really didn't have an option. And even if she did,
I agree with that.
Yeah, because like even if she like perfect example was the boat situation when Garcelle, obviously Kyle hasn't watched any of the episodes because Garcelle literally explained why she didn't say anything on the boat. But Kyle was like, you didn't speak up. And it's like, if you watch the episode, you see why she didn't speak up. But either way, she then takes a back seat and like, I'm not going to speak up. They go at Sutton. And then all of a sudden it gets turned on to Garcelle being like, well, you didn't even have her back in that moment. And it's like, what else can this lady do?
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, it wasn't the only factor in why they didn't accept Garcelle. But I definitely think it was something that definitely hurt her. And I understand. The thing is, Garcelle should I also wouldn't want Garcelle to not be sticking up for Sutton or saying what she like. Essentially, if it made sense to her to say, I don't want her not to say it because she's being strategic.
I'm the bad guy here.
Oh, no, I think we are.
Yeah, we're mean girls, apparently.
I mean...
Yeah.
Which I don't understand that.
I'm not taking that on. You can say anything you want. I'm not taking it because I know who I am.
That's inauthentic. But I at a certain point, when it got later into the seasons, and sometimes Sutton was like a little too much, I'm like,
No, ma'am.
Jealous of what? Your ugly leopard pants? No. Are you kidding me? No.
Wait. Sutton, come here for a second.
Sutton, don't run.
Oh, Garcelle,
Oh, yeah.
let Sutton, because Sutton has started to, I believe, really rely on Garcelle to come in and save her. And that is where I was like, don't save her. Like, she needs to fucking grow up and figure it out.
I agree with you in a sense of like, I realized that I liked Sutton because she was friends with Garcelle.
Yeah.
That's literally all the reason. But like, Garcelle is so smart and this is why I think I said this last time, like people don't realize how important she is. And she's very much the Cynthias, like the Gabbies, like now that we're seeing in Summer House is like they're necessary because they are the voice of the audience. And Garcelle, I honestly don't even think half the time Garcelle stood up for Sutton because she truly cared about Sutton. Of course, she cared on some level. I think she realized, right is right, but also realized that this would be a terrible season if everybody just fell on a sword and just went along with what they want.
That's true.
So like in her mind, she's always thinking how this is going to be.
Is there something going on in your personal life that you would like to share?
With what, though? Like, what?
For marriage.
Really?
Yes. What's with the new band?
That's what she wants to know?
No, I want to know. What's with the new wedding band?
You haven't been wearing your wedding ring.
And how the audience is going to think. And it's like, if she doesn't say anything in this moment, you're just having 5 women yell at Sutton, and then what?
And also, I feel like to your point, to piggyback off of that, I do believe that a lot of times Garcelle was kind of, I feel like she was doing it on both ends. So like, I can give you 2 examples right off the bat. When Lisa Rinna had went on Watch What Happens Live and said that Sutton was lying about the whole table, the charity, and that she never bought Lisa Rinna and her husband a table or whatever it was. And then we pick up on the season, and they're at that big dinner, and freaking Sutton is like tap dancing around the subject. And what Garcelle, and that's my issue with Sutton. She's like, she does this thing where you have the receipts, show it. And that's exactly what Garcelle said in that moment. She's like, she even forces Sutton's hand when Sutton is trying to play fucking games. And she did that again with Sutton, when it was, when Sutton was the one, with Kyle at the dinner, when she was like trying to insinuate like why Mauricio had bought Kyle that, was a ring. Like, was it a makeup ring or like I fucked up, I cheated on you ring? And instead of just kind of being, if you want to be messy all the way. Like, Garcelle was like, she's saying this. Like, this is what you're saying. Garcelle wasn't saying it. And I feel like that always got misconstrued as if Garcelle was saying it. Garcelle was simply just being like, this is what she's saying. Let's have the conversation because I'm so sick of like the tap dancing around it. Like, Sutton is literally calling you out, Kyle. Now you. Like,
I honestly see, the crazy thing is how Bose is with Dorit. I see the same thing how Sutton and Garcelle are, where it's like they have this strong Black woman who then they now feel they're overconfident now when they have their strong Black woman. And Dorit was mousy until Bose came along, and now all of a sudden she cussing everybody else out and has all this confidence. And I think it's the same thing with Sutton, with Garcelle, where she's like, she feels safe with Garcelle. So when they talk behind, closed doors, what friends do, she feels safe and confident. And then in the moment she gets out there, she just like, I can't do that. And Garcelle's like, girl. Yeah. Garcelle's so confident in herself. She just like, just say what you told me. And then know that if you lie, I don't have your back.
And she did that in the reunion. She was like, no, Sutton.
You called her. She basically called Kyle Lisa Vanderpump of what Kyle was saying about Lisa Vanderpump, which is interesting.
Yeah. And then Kyle pisses me off because everything is a double standard with Kyle. And that's why I've been over Kyle. been known that's how Kyle is. I feel like people are just getting hip to it. But to sit here and say when you two, speaking about Garcelle and Sutton, get together, you guys are very mean girls. It's so laughable when you guys completely made a whole mean girl clique that you dubbed the Fox Force 5, like, to literally do the same thing to everybody else. You've literally run so many people off of your show.
Including her own sister.
Literally, yes, including both of your sisters. Because, Kathy would be there like a real sister.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also...
remember when she did that whole show that Kathy was like, do not do?
Yes, I remember.
She wasn't talking?
Exactly. We talked about that last time. Like that failed show that she had that lasted one season starring Alicia Silverstone.
Get off me. Mom, slow down. You're always wanting to go on those ridiculous amusement park rides that throw you around like a rag doll. This is just like that, and it's free.
And Kathy had not wanted their family business out there. And again, Kyle, which is interesting. That's such a great point. Kathy, the whole reason Kathy never wanted the show out there is because it would have paint her mother, that is no longer with us, who cannot defend herself. And by the way, that's a whole separate subject. Big Kathy, that woman, like, very problematic. But to be fair, Kathy, that's her mother, and she did not want their family business being aired on prime time. Like, that's not what they want, what she wanted, and she expressed that to Kyle. And that's Kyle's mom too, so she has every right to do what she wants to do. But, like, she never completely, like, understood Kathy's perspective, and the fact that, like, when things like are happening within her marriage, within her personal life, she wants all of this fucking understanding, respect, and, like, grace. And she does not provide that for anyone, not even people in her own fucking family. And it's just so... but I wish they would play the package of her doing what she claims she doesn't do in real time so she can just explain it. Like, kind of like what Andy did with Craig at the reunion.
You said on Watch What Happens Live that you had never lied on camera.
I stand by it.
And I said, well, in the episode that we were coming on after, they had showed a montage of you lying. I want to show you the montage.
Yeah, and I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
How long did you know that you didn't graduate from law school?
Since the beginning.
Really?
Those words never came out of my mouth.
I just graduated law school.
Did you really graduate?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
For Southern
Kyle
Charm
is one of the producers. Like,
right. They're never going to do it.
Yeah,
they're never going to do it.
This show will never move forward as long as Kyle is there. And somebody actually had made a point. And when you said that clearly, like, Kyle wanted the show to tell about her mom's story. And then we know she told Kim's story. Like, Kyle is a professional at telling other people's stories.
Yes.
And when it comes to, like, for her to go back at Garcelle and be like, I've shared so much of my life. And it's like, no, you shared other people's lives. And now it's time to share your life. And you're like, the last reunion, did she not say, I'm not going to answer any of these questions. I don't have to. I don't owe you guys anything. Then get off of reality TV.
I agree.
Literally get off.
That cast frustrates me, and I'm happy, again, like we said last week, I'm happy Garcelle has made an exit. I'm interested to see what happens moving forward with that cast. And I mean, Sutton and Bose, I would say you need to be preparing, because one of you, or if not both of you, will fall victim to the Fox Force flop.
I do have one thing to say, that to piggyback off of what you said about microaggression. Like, it's so true that, like, very thankful for Garcelle and, like, the route that she took on Beverly Hills to be the first Black woman on there and to point things out to people that the things that you're saying that you may not be aware of is a microaggression. And then one of the things that I've noticed in the fandom, a lot of people are supporting Garcelle, which is thank goodness. Yeah. But, like, a lot of people are being like, okay, Garcelle, why did you say this off camera? And why don't you say it on stage? And it's like, she has to be very careful because she can get painted as an angry Black woman. And she also has a reputation to uphold outside of this show. That's why she left. So we all know her as Black acting royalty, as Miss Fancy.
Yes, Miss Fancy from the Jamie Foxx show.
The Jamie Foxx show. And she is killing it. And she doesn't need you guys to then, flip the script on her and be like, why is she yelling at Erica?
Right.
And she was so mean. She knows.
And thank you for circling back to that, because that's a very good point about microaggressions. And that's kind of what I was saying too, with like when you're trying to explain to somebody what a microaggression is that is a non-Black person, it's hard, and it's because you have to be careful in how you're explaining it, because if you're too animated, why are you so angry or aggressive, and these really like outdated stereotypes of what a lot of people perceive Black women to be, or why, and so it's like this delicate balance, and it's just incredibly hard. And I don't fault Garcelle for just wanting to just take herself out of the situation. I think she gave so much to the franchise, and she doesn't need it, unlike some of these women. And I think that, honestly, have fun with your show. I did it for a few seasons. I don't need to like retire onto this show.
It's not fun.
I'm still working. I'm getting busier. And it's kind of like, I don't even know why Candy from Real Housewives of Atlanta stayed on the show as long as she did. Like she is so busy to the point where I was like, it didn't make sense for her to be on the show. She could barely participate. And it's like, if you're constantly working and like your work is like essentially year round, that's when you need to exit this show. This is a show for people who have abundance of time on their hand, like abundance. And I'm glad that Garcelle left, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to watch next season, to be quite frank with you.
I'm with you.
Honestly, hopefully TikTok is still around, because that ban might be happening. We're recording this on a Friday. It might be happening tomorrow on Saturday.
Well, he does have, because I think the first time he extended it 75 days, and in the law, he can extend it up to 90 days.
Yeah.
So he can extend it after the 5th. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really that worried about it, but I only brought it up to say I will, if I don't watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills next season, I'm gonna catch it on TikTok and people's clips. I'll get a highlight reel, so that will be how I can kind of keep up to date with what's going on without actually having to watch the series, because I'm still on the fence if I'm going to watch. We'll see. It depends on the cast. And then just to round out our highlights of the week, sticking with Bravo and then segueing into our Summer House recap, which is the main event. I know we talked about the Fox Force 5, and I have been so outspoken on my personal content on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and wherever I can pop the fuck off about Teddy Mellencamp.
Oh.
I do want to say this again, like we said, this is not that serious. Oh, well, some of it is, but overall in general, Real Housewives, Bravo, pop culture things, reality TV. At the end of the day, the concept of it is not supposed to be that serious. It's supposed to be escapism. And even though I personally, this doesn't change my opinion on how I feel or felt about Teddy on Bravo or on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I do want to say that I am incredibly sad to hear about her cancer. If you're not familiar, Teddy Mellencamp, who is a former Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, she was diagnosed with brain tumors, which she did get removed, and then later found out she had even more. And I think it had to remove those as well. I did see yesterday, when I was kind of like looking into it a little bit more, it's super serious in the sense of I know brain tumors are serious, but it's serious to the point where she is said out loud and is grappling with the idea and acceptance that this might be the literal end of her life, which is took me aback, because I knew she was going through this. And when she said that part out loud, it really hit me of whoa, this is a woman that is going through the craziest thing in her life with two young children. She was in the middle of a divorce, and her estranged husband, Edwin, seems like he is stepping up so hard for her in this moment and giving her comfort. But she finds out June 1st if it's optimism, or if she needs to start transitioning into the fate of it possibly being the end of the road for her, which is just so sad. So I'm so sad to hear that, no matter my opinions on, or my opinions in the past of her on the show or on the network. I'm so sad for her and her family.
I did see like one note that she had like I don't know where I saw it, probably like one of the Bravo accounts where she said that I know how, serious my cancer is, but she's like it's so hard to read comments of people being like, "Oh my God, you're stage 4," like, this is the end for you, that type of thing. Like people are not already being super morbid about it. And she's like, I can say it in my head, but she's like, but reading the comments just makes it even worse. And she's like, in my mind, I still feel like I'm going to beat this. And so I'm just like, I can't even imagine what that may feel like. And I pray.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when I first heard about Teddy's diagnosis, I don't know, like, for some reason, I'm like, oh, she's like, not like in a like, oh, shrug it off way, but like, these are feelings that I felt like whenever I've heard like close family friends or family members that have been diagnosed with cancer. Like, sometimes I get these feelings. I'm like, okay, they're going to be fine. Like, it's like this feeling I get. And I like, and so when I heard that, I was like, she's going to be fine. Like, I knew it was serious, but I was like, okay, she's going to be fine. But when I heard from her say that she is, making preparations to accept when she finds out on June 1st, what the doctors think the prognosis is and the likelihood, that I don't know, like that like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, whoa, I'm still very optimistic. And I'm like, because again, I'm like an energy person. So I want to like, I don't want to like speak like to your point. I'm not trying to like, oh, she needs to prepare for the end. Like, I'm not a doctor. I don't fucking know. I would rather speak positively and that there's always a chance. And
Always.
But I did want to say, because I personally know how outspoken in a negative way I have been about Teddy, that you can have these opinions about people, but I lead with empathy in a sense of like, she does not deserve this. Her family does not deserve this. And like, I am hoping for nothing but positivity in her recovery. So I just wanted to quickly mention that.
And to like also give yourself grace in terms of like, these are a show. The shows are edited. We can only give our opinion and lend our voices to what we see on an edited show. Like, we don't know these people in real life.
Right.
And so we can have empathy for people that we don't know. And we can also have opinions on people based off of what they show us on TV.
Exactly. And yeah, so let's just all give Teddy all of our positive energy for her recovery. I know she can do it. Like, let's just send her all the positive vibes that we
positive
can give
vibe.
her. If you pray. If you don't, and you're just all about vibes, give her them good vibes, okay?
If you're like Grace Lilly, give her the good vibes.
Give her the good vibes. So let's kind of turn this upside down and go into a more, well, I don't know how positive it is, but it's
not for Lexi.
not for a lot of people, but let's just slide right into Summer House, episode 8. And we pick back up at the pool. We're poolside with Jesse Solomon and the rest of the housemates while he tries to navigate his lies about what happened the night before when he burst in Emerald's bedroom when he was doing his threesome to make it a foursome, even though foursomes are not as good as Lexi, according to Jesse Solomon. What would Jesse Solomon do? He'd get a toe suck.
I was like, yeah, suck my toe.
Lie, get a toe sucked. And he tried his best, I feel like, in that moment to not admit that, kind of like what we were talking about before. So we got a lot of, this episode gave us a lot of answers that we were seeking towards the end of our recap last week. So last week we were like, okay, who is going to tell Lexi about the toe sucking? We had our theories. And we also wanted to figure out, like, if he did. I don't think we'll ever really get a full answer on that one, but we did get an answer on who the fuck told her, and I can't wait. I feel like I didn't get it completely right because there was a little twist of who really told her, but I feel like I got it like a halfway right because I said it was Emerald. Because I said Emerald. I didn't say Emerald was the person that was going to tell Lexi, but I said Emerald is going to be the person that spreads it, and then someone else is going to tell her. I didn't know necessarily who that was. We were thinking at the time, Gabby, but then there was a little twist in that.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be that Gabby heard it and then told Lindsay, and then Lindsay was the one that brought it up to Lexi.
And you weren't like completely wrong with that because again, I think
we didn't know that Bailey was going to come back.
Yeah, that was the twist.
Yeah, and he got his toes sucked.
Jesse got his toes sucked?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just like,
that was the twist. I mean, if you watched the episode, you knew who it was.
Yeah, but honestly, good for Bailey. That good lady came right back. She literally did what we said we need Gabby to be, and Gabby was starting to do the things.
I wrote that down. She was ramping up.
Last summer, when Lindsay and Carl were still very much engaged, he met your parents, and then you slid into his DMs. That's suspicious.
Gabby was warming up to be the bone collector. She was doing some stuff this episode. I said,
we need to bring Bailey back. I'm sorry. That girl is good.
Well, I heard about your toe sucking.
Wait, what?
Like, you know what? She's so good that she wasn't on the show anymore because apparently, like we said before, the reason why she's not in the house anymore is because she was too busy bone collecting to the masses when she would go home to the city and telling people what was happening and ruining plot lines. But
so good,
Bailey. Do I want you back? I don't know. I think I might. I think I might want Bailey back because yes, Bailey. Yes.
And to your point, Emerald, it was a little messy. He knew to say something.
I literally wrote down, Emerald is messy, and I am here for it. Wait, can you see that?
I can see.
And the thing is,
he goes, "Oh, there's a camera." Bailey, here you go.
But like even at the pool, like even in the confessionals and stuff like that, like so Jesse tried his best. Did you notice that? Did you peep that? Like when I could see Jesse being like, okay, I just finished like essentially lying to these women and whomever else was at the pool about what happened in that room. And then here comes Emerald, and he tried to do what I think any like classic manipulator does. He tried to take over the conversation before Emerald could say a thing.
Emerald, do you want to ease into the morning with the conversation about anything besides you being an orgy beast, and then we can get into it?
Yeah, let's wait for a second.
Like he immediately jumped on Emerald. Like once he came to the pool, he was like, Emerald, before we get into like your crazy night, like he was really trying to, with his energy, redirect Emerald. And I could tell, I think it did throw Emerald off because I feel like he was like, something weird is happening with him. I don't know. I'm tired. I just woke up. I'm hungover. I just did have sex with 2 women. I don't know what's happening.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like he was like, I feel like that interaction with Jesse got him like, I'm going to put a pin in this. I don't know what's going on. I don't even have coffee yet. But something weird is happening, and I don't know what is happening. But
you're exactly right.
We gonna find out.
100. He was like, I don't know how I need to gauge this conversation, but I feel like Jesse's steering me right in a certain way, and I need to see if I need to play along or not.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying to last week. I was like, I don't know if Emerald is going to be like, because and I'm glad he is not doing what a West and what a Jesse Solomon and what a Carl or a Kyle would do, which is cover for each other. I like that Emerald is a wild card, and it's so refreshing to see a male person, cast member, be a wild card. It's like, they're not safe. These men are not safe.
Well, I had thought, so this is where I got confused because I had thought, and this is where you guys had corrected me, I thought Emerald had brought it up at the pool. So that was like my understanding. And so this is why I put Gabby there. Because I thought because I remember they ended the episode with everybody at the pool. And then I was like, oh, didn't Emerald bring it up at the pool? And you guys were like, no. So in my head, I had this whole plot in my head that he brought it up at the pool. And Gabby was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then told Lindsay, and then Lindsay told Lexi. But then it
kind of happened like that, but it was just later in the soft bar launch thing.
Get to that. But yeah.
We'll get to that. But I mean, I am happy that Emerald is like, and again, I think that Emerald is.
I like him.
I like Emerald a lot, and I put in my notes. I put it towards the end of the episode when they were playing kickball because they had that highlight reel of him catching everything, and that was when I was like, you know what? I am so I was like, I need to walk this completely back about who I thought Emerald was.
Can you guys tell me how we're feeling about Emerald?
Because he is fucking cool. He is not pretending to be cool. He is fucking cool. And I am so sorry that I literally thought he was a Jordan because he is nothing of the sort.
But
he
it's not your
nothing
fault,
of the
though.
sort.
This is literally how they're trying to edit him in that way. And it's the same thing that they're doing with Gabby, as if Gabby is not witty and fashionable. And like this episode literally proved that both of them are very essential, that Emerald could be messy, that Emerald's like, one thing Emerald's like, okay, I'm sleeping around with people because I'm in a shared house. I can do that. But I'm also being very upfront, unlike the men in this house who want to pretend like they're these good guys when they're not. And so Emerald is refreshing. I'm sorry.
He's a breath of fresh air because I feel like he is the only person, or I should say man in the house that like is doing it proper. And I know that, again, like we talked about, a lot of people are trying to paint him as a person taking advantage of women, as if women are not allowed to be sexually free. That is such a crazy thing to like jump to when there is no photographic evidence to show that. I have not heard him say anything disrespectful about anybody he's hooked up with. The house is the one that is obsessed with asking about details, and he actually doesn't go into them. He's not being like annoying about it, like I'm not telling you anything, but he tells us enough where I feel like that is a respectful line of how much he's willing to say without making it nasty.
Right.
Or objectifying the women. I think that he simply just enjoys sex. And I think that's a really hard concept for some people to understand because they're so used to these Bravo men being so toxic with women that they are assuming that that's how he is too. And I just don't think that it is. I think he just likes sex and he finds other women who like sex just as much as he does. And it is what it is.
That's a good point that you brought, that like he found other women that enjoy sex just as much as he does. The women in the house who are single have made it clear that they aren't casual people that hook up. They don't hook up like casually. And so he's like, okay, great. And he also is like, I don't want to hook up with anybody in this house because that gets messy.
Yeah.
And now cut to all these other men who hook up with the women in the house who then get into relationships with people just so they can sleep with them. And it's like, but you defend that.
I think he did like her and like was like, okay, this is going to be my girlfriend. Was it 100% motivated by sleeping with her? Maybe not 100%, but that was definitely a motivation.
You trying to make her your girlfriend so you can have sex with her.
I didn't want her hooking up with other people.
But Emerald's the bad guy.
And that's super frustrating because consent is a big thing. And I'm not trying to like make it too dramatic, but like when we get into more of the timeline of Jesse and his exclusivity, with Lexi, to me, it's like, I found it very disgusting because he didn't tell her the full scope of what happened at the summer house, knowing that would be something that would have been something that she considered in if she wanted to be exclusive with him and also if she wanted to be intimate with him. And I found that very disgusting.
I agree.
Like that's something like to me that was going against her consent of the terms and conditions of her moving forward with him. And he knew that. And he deliberately did it.
Did you see clips with the after show?
I watched the after show and I watched What Happens Live because I just really wanted the full scope of what happened. So I watched the whole thing. Usually I don't necessarily watch the whole thing. And I watched both of the whole things because I needed to, I just needed to know. I really wanted to have a full understanding of what was going on. And to the fact that I think this is what you're alluding to in the after show, the fact that on the day they became exclusive, I believe, was it the day they became exclusive? He said that I love you to Lexi, or was it on kickball day?
I don't remember, to be honest. I think that might be
it was before she knew I feel like it was before she knew everything, or when he was still kind of lying about things. And he said, I feel like he said, I love you and I want to be exclusive to sleep with her, to love bomb her, and to emotionally manipulate her.
And I'm glad that Gabby asked that question to him out loud.
Yes.
And this is why people like her are necessary. She literally was like, did you get in a relationship with her so you can sleep with her?
that when we get to that part at the soft bar, that is exactly what I said too. And also Paige, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's
sorry.
put a pin. No, because it is so relevant, and it's like that's why it's really, really hard to stay like what's the word I'm looking for? Like not cohesive, but like to go in chronological order.
Yeah.
To go into chronological order with the recap sometimes, because there is just like there's so many things that like you learn later in the episode that directly like impacts the things that you saw at the top.
Yeah.
And it's so hard not to like go back to what you already know. But I mean, like again, we're trying our best to like keep it that way. But
doing our
whatever,
best.
whatever.
We're doing our best.
Not, you know who's not doing their best? Jessie.
Yeah.
So essentially, I also wrote that Gabby at the pool was clocking. So at the pool, going back to the pool, we talked about last week that Gabby, she be clocking things. She listens. And she's in this pool, listening to everybody talk. And they're, going over the shipwrecked party. And they're talking about Carl's new friend, Lil, that he brought. And was like, we did couple pictures and stuff like that. Like she sees things. She's clocking things. It's like, you guys are like, you're familiar if you're familiar. And again, that was for me. I was like, she is warming up to really carry a bone.
Yes.
She's trying to get all of the information she could get before she went to Lindsay. And I was loving it. Then we go to Paige and Craig preparing to, leave. And this is where we get a little bit more of their relationship and the deterioration of it. And Paige is literally telling him, like, I have to go film Giggly Squad at 7. And Craig is just not, he doesn't listen. That's what pisses me off the most. Like, he hears her, but he doesn't, like, hear her. And he's like, okay, well, I want to stop and get food. She's like, I just need to get home.
Yeah.
I just need to get home. And I know that sounds so insignificant because it's like, oh, well, like they're leaving probably in the morning or afternoon. And then like it's 7 o'clock when she has to film. Going to coming from the Hamptons back into the city takes a very long time. There's a lot of traffic.
So
and
much traffic.
Also when you're recording a podcast like we're doing right now, if you're trying, like, depending on what they're talking about, she might need to prep. It might be a whole thing. I have no idea where they film this stuff. It is a job what she's doing, and she is, unlike she is getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
So she wants to be professional, and she wants to show up prepared, ready to do this. And I feel like it shows, it's an insight to what Paige is saying, that he does not take what she's doing seriously, or if he is, he's just trying to deflate how serious it is. And
also to paint the picture too, like when you're out there in the Hamptons, there's no like quick stop to get something to eat. Like you have to these are restaurants out there because of where they are. So like it's easier to just get back into the city, and then he can let her record her podcast and she can grab food. And to your point, he just doesn't think of her podcast as being that serious and being like, yes, you need to record at 7, whatever. It could wait, because he thinks of his own podcast with Austin. So he
that's a hobby. That's not like it is like. And I'm not trying to, like, again, people could be like, well, what you're doing is a hobby. Right now,
it is a hobby.
It is a hobby.
Our podcast is like Austin and Craig's, whereas like hers is a whole production. Okay,
exactly. Like there are other people on the payroll. There are other people that will be waiting on her. There are a lot of people she has to answer for and she's preparing for a tour based off of this podcast. Like there's a lot of money going into her business right now. And it is a business. It is a business. And also the fact, Paige said something that was so telling. And I thought it was a perfect way to describe what Craig was doing and has been doing to her. Is like every time Craig speaks to her, and he does this to everybody. And he was doing this a lot on the reunion, even to Austin, on Southern Charms reunion. He's saying things to Paige in a way in which it's presented as nice, but it has some type of underlying like negative toxicity underneath it that makes you feel like icky. And Paige said it's
Carl.
Like Carl. And it's like she's like, the only way I can describe it is like he's like essentially cussing me out in a very Southern way. And I was like, that is a great way to put it, because we all know that like Southern people could be like, bless your heart, which means like, you are a one stupid bitch.
Right.
Like they know how to sound nice while being incredibly rude to you. And that is what Craig is doing a lot to Paige.
He does it to your point, and not only to Paige, he does it to everybody in his life. And he has this whole tendency of being like, and I haven't fully watched the Southern Charm reunion, the second part, but I did see a clip, and one of the things that somebody had said, like, Craig always is like, oh, if you perceive me that way, then maybe you shouldn't be friends with me. Instead of just being like, everyone's saying the same thing about you. Take a look at yourself, and maybe I can change my ways. And being how like people are perceiving me. But instead he's like, well, then don't be friends with me if I'm like this. And it's like, bro, grow up.
Yeah. And even when, like, I know you didn't watch the whole thing, but like, even when like I brought up with like, I wish that they would play a package in real time of Kyle being a hypocrite and all of the times that she has done.
When you said Kyle, I was thinking like Summer House.
No, sorry, Kyle Richards from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like when we were talking, when I was saying, I wish they would show a package of Kyle Richards being a hypocrite and doing the things that she's complaining that like Garcelle and Sutton do to her, that she's done to so many people over the time on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because they did that for Craig. It's like they played a package of, because Craig still refuses to acknowledge the fact that he does lie and that there has been evidence of him lying. So Andy was like, can I play the package and show you what I'm talking about? And he plays it literally irrefutable that he has been lying specifically about like being a lawyer. And he still manages to like be like, but technically he always does these things. It's like he can never accept responsibility, and he that is like an infuriating trait. Infuriating. I cannot speak right now. It pisses me off.
I know what you're saying. Because I'm like, I don't want to attempt.
Yeah. It's infuriating me.
Yeah.
To the point where I can't say infuriating.
Right. And you're getting worked up about it now because but this is where I say the difference between Craig and like, I know I'm beating a dead horse, but Carl. Because I literally said how you feel about Craig is how I feel about Carl. The way
I feel that way. I feel that way too. But you know how.
I know. But it's literally how they will show a package of Craig because everybody sees it. Literally everybody sees it but Craig. And the only reason why people were tolerating it is honestly because of how much they like Paige. But when you have Carl on the other hand, when I tell you the whole internet is defending Carl because like, I just have such a soft spot for him, it's because they hate Lindsay. Like this fan base, it's like, we can see it, but they have so many different double standards for certain people. Like
absolutely.
Craig is it's slowly unraveling for him to even
it is.
His cast used to excuse it, and now his cast is like, we're done.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. Moving right along, Carl's at the pool and they're all asking him about his event that he's going to be having for Soft Bar in New Jersey.
Wait, Gabby was so funny.
Gabby was I wrote that down. Gabby was funny, and the editors were hilarious because they did like a womp womp music as soon as he said, and it's gonna be in New Jersey. Womp womp. I mean, it wasn't a womp womp, but I don't know how to like do the melody.
Report to the event in New Jersey. There's no.
But it was like one of those melodies of like taking the air out of what he said. It was very funny. Nothing wrong with New Jersey, by the way.
No,
lovely state.
But from a New Yorker, it's tough to get to because we're so used to, our old life. We're so used to being able to take the train. So you have to take a New Jersey Transit for that. Obviously, the jitney. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But, I mean, it was fun shade. It was fun shade that Gabby did. It's hilarious. Like, but I felt like, again, and you know what? This is going to be... I was already about to go in on Carl in this moment, so you know.
No, I think I need a break. I think somebody else needs to do it.
Pass the baton, bitch.
Take it, please, because I know people are like, I know that lady.
Let me wind up like that one high schooler who hit that one girl. Because we know I watched it many times. She did hit that girl. But let me wind up because I am going to intentionally hit Carl with this one. Yeah. So I clocked the fuck the fact that
Fuck.
and the fact that Carl, like, they asked, like, oh, you know, did you invite Lindsay to your launch? And I know that this could be perceived as innocent, and him just like, of course he invited her. It's innocent enough. He invited Lindsay, and I don't care if I'm making this a fact, because I tried not to make my opinions into fact, but
it's your opinion.
This is my
Like
my
Garcelle
opinion.
Yeah.
Tamra
Garcelle
style.
also said it. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
This is how I feel. I
is
feel
how I
like, let me not make it a fact, but I feel like
Yes.
Carl, I believe he was going to always invite Lindsay, because one, I believe that he just wants to make sure that he's always being like, I was the bigger person in this situation. But I really feel like he went out of his way to make her incorporate it. Like, look at me trying to incorporate her like into this soft bar, but it really I feel like he went into with the intentions of like rubbing the fact that Lillo's going to be coming, and I think that like Lindsay not coming later on really like kind of put a damper, because I feel like he really wanted to like show the fact off that he's moving on, which is fine. Like, we all play games when we break up with people, so I'm not saying that that's like the worst offense that he's ever done. I get it to a degree.
But you're giving little examples of what he does where everybody will see it. So they view it as like, oh,
look at Shirla grabbing the baton back.
Oh, sorry. Give me that shit.
Give me that shit. You're not doing it enough.
God damn it.
You're not hitting him enough. I was like, oh,
yes. You need to explain it. Why you hit him. Okay. Like, have that press conference that lady had.
I know, right?
But you show an example of, you know, on surface, it's like, look at him being the bigger person playing the game about guessing the gender. Look at him being the bigger person of inviting Lindsay because if he didn't invite her, wouldn't that be bad? Like, if you're all in the summer house, you have to invite her. So I don't think you have a choice. And then, but you're like, but the reason why he wants to invite her is he wants to be like, look, you said that I couldn't do this, and I'm doing it, even though he said it was going to open in January and we're in April. So that's one.
He did. I will, because I know if there are some Carl defenders watching or listening, they're going to be like, if you watch the after show, he already changed it and said that he's hoping to open his doors in the summer. I saw it. I hear it. I acknowledge it. And I also know that when you are opening things, deadlines move. So I will acknowledge that the same thing happened. I'm literally wearing merch from Something About Her, and their deadline moved a million times.
But that's the difference with them, though. Something About Her had a place, and they weren't asking us for money. They were already selling merch.
That's where he technically also, again, I just want to make sure I say things before other people say things.
Oh.
He has a place. I understand he has a place.
Yeah.
So yes, we're very aware. He has made steps in, but the thing is, we're going to really break down that whole thing in a minute.
Let's park that, because two things can be true at the same time.
But I just want to like make sure people understand. We understand that yes, deadlines move. That's a part of it. And yes, we do know he has secured a location. Know that we know that moving forward.
Right. We know we're not just random haters. Okay.
Yes. And I'm not going to not acknowledge the fact that he's done certain things to fit my agenda, but I want people to know that we know these things, so that way that they understand that I'm still being able to make an informed opinion about the company, knowing that.
Exactly. So back to the original point of it's, you know, it's almost like he's putting on a show at this point. Yes. So like on surface, you're like, he's being so nice, and like what you're not understanding, this entire party that he put on, where it's like, you know, the food, it's like, okay, the event is about the drinks. And, you know, you're serving it in New Jersey, not by the location, should have been in Brooklyn. And I don't know if he had the location at the time, but whatever.
We don't know.
You spent $100,000 of your own money just to put on a showcase, to be like, look, Lindsay, you said that I couldn't do it.
Wait, is that how much that cost?
He said I don't know how much that actually costs. I think that's an extra expense. He said he's already put in $100,000 of his own money. So that party was an extra expense, where you have to then pay for the truck. You have to then pay for the jitney to arrive. You have to then pay for the food. the staff, and then also the actual drinks that you have there.
And the location.
The location, also all the merch, all the stuff they have to pay for there.
And I also, let me pass that baton. Give me that
sorry.
baton. Give it to
Here
me.
you go.
Thank you. I wrote down, what the fuck was the purpose of having that party in Jersey? Not because it's Jersey, but because it looked just, and I, until this episode, because I had seen like clips from people on social media last year of this event, I thought he did that event at their shared house because the place in which he put it on looks so much like their shared house that I'm like, why wouldn't you just do it at the house? Because you guys already have the location. And it's clear they all support you, Carl. So it's not like anybody would have objected to having a week, like instead of doing the shipwrecked party, fucking Carl, and spending money on your decorations and having a fake ass like fucking prop ship and just swabbing the deck instead of like investing in a better costume, you could have just did your party being your soft bar thing and put all of money into that instead of spending money on nonsense like a shipwrecked party. And then spending an extra cost of location and probably insurance and all that for another location. Like, he loves to waste money.
But this is where you need somebody like Lindsay, and everybody kept calling her a mean person. He needs somebody like Lindsay in your life to tell you that you are spending unnecessary money before the business is even a business.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you have his mom being like, just
oh my God,
absolute meanness. And saying like,
I wrote she was
nasty.
I was like,
so
she was really nasty. So nasty.
She was not only nasty at Lindsay at her bridal shower, but she'll be nasty at Lindsay when she's not here and saying like he's the bigger person. It's like they're always trying to paint this man as being the nice, bigger person. And it's like, you're the one
honestly,
that broke off
Susan,
the engagement.
Susan, I didn't want to come for you, Susan, but since you wanted to enter the fucking group chat, here you go. Listen, you need to worry about what's going on in your home because your husband seems like he controls you. Oh. And that's what I felt. I felt like that when he was talking out both sides of his mouth last year. Okay, Susan, you don't look happy, Susan. Susan, you look stressed every time I see you. You look like a ball of anxiety.
Oh.
Okay? So you need to check on what's happening in your home.
Now check that.
So check that. Because you know what? Aunt Rhonda also had concerns. And Aunt Rhonda also had things to say about your son that you raised that has been a menace to society for years. Okay?
Okay. And Aunt Rhonda don't bring that up on camera. She let Lindsay know behind closed doors.
What you did was unnecessary, Susan.
Yeah. It's there to fit the image that they're trying to portray.
I don't like talking about people's mamas, by the way, but she's Susan.
Yeah, Susan was, but she wants to be like, this is all Lindsay's fault, and we'll get to the whole text messages, stuff like that. But like the narrative has always been Lindsay is an emotional terrorist, and she is the reason why her and Carl didn't work out and why he needed to get out of the relationship. It was all her. And he did her a favor, and he also did himself a favor by leaving her. It was always, that's the narrative. It was Lindsay's fault. So they have to keep up the appearances.
Yeah. I feel like moms of men or boys or whatever, they just like are so delusional. And if I ever have a boy, I promise I will try to remember how annoying it is to watch other women with men and boys be so delusional about their children and their sons, like, or whatever. But like, I can't, because it's too much.
I'm trying to think of like who on Bravo's mom have just been like, there was somebody where they were like, I feel like Austin's parents are very much like, are you sure you want to be with my son?
Yeah, I think you're right on that one, because they're like, I know my child.
Yeah, they're always
He's a goddamn mess.
Yeah, like I feel like he might have the only like mom on Bravo where it's not like he could do no wrong and then the other woman is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moms with sons, check yourself. And if you are a mom with sons and you're listening, Do you think that you fall into that category? Do you think that you're a little too, like, delusional about your son and that he can do no wrong and it's always the woman's fault? Please let me know. Let us know. I need to
Let us know.
enter the group chat.
Comment below. Let us know.
I genuinely want to know. Like, do you feel that way, or do you think that that's a thing, or I don't know. I want to know if you have a son and you're a mother. Let us know. How you are.
And we know this from a Caribbean standpoint that they do put men on a pedestal.
Oh,
and so
yes.
they could do no wrong. So maybe it's just like that's how, the son carries on the name and that's how everybody just sees it. And so they're like, I've got to be super protective. And like, it's obviously the woman who's just trying to, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we've got to change as a society and hold these men accountable.
Yes, even if it is your son. You know what? My grandma be checking my uncle.
Okay.
Like, and because like, I'm not going to put his business out there, but I'm going to tell you this. All I'm going to say is this. My grandma, like, the reason why she is so beloved in my family and by anybody that meets her, Tyson, big ups to Tyson.
Big up to Tyson.
Because she is like, she will love you down, and she is literally my best friend, but she will tell you when you're wrong. And I think that we just need to normalize telling people when they're wrong.
I agree.
Even if you love them.
this cast needs to normalize telling Carl when he's wrong, because like we saw it in the confessionals where they were all trying to explain what event they just went to.
Oh, that was okay. Before we get to that, because there was one thing I wanted to touch on before we get to like really get into Carl's soft bar. Before we get to Carl's event, Lexi and Jesse meet up in the city.
Oh, yeah.
For a date.
Yeah.
And, Lexi fills us in on why she missed last weekend. And that makes it even more infuriating. Oh, I finally got that word out. For me.
Yeah.
Because for two reasons. One, we find out that her grandma is battling cancer, got a double mastectomy. So she wanted to be with her family for the weekend. Jesse also knew that, so that's very important information. So no one can be like, well, he didn't know that. He fucking knew. So he had that information and still proceeded to behave the way in which he behaved that weekend and lie and play in her fucking face. Also, as I was writing that down, I was like, wait, a goddamn. And also, Jesse, out of all the people, a person who has literally beat cancer, knowing how that affects a person's family, watching someone go through that, you yourself going through that, and you still fucking played in this girl's face when she's going through something like that. I can't understand it. You
Also,
know so well how important it is to have support system when someone is going through something like that. I don't like it.
I don't even know.
Jesse is making it. It's getting worse and worse for me.
I don't even know. I was gonna say shout out to Gabby, because Lexi said in the after show that Gabby did check in on her. So shout out to her. But the Jesse thing is just I don't even know what to say. Like, it's sad because I'm not surprised, and it's just so.
I'm not surprised.
Gross.
Like we've been seeing the signs. Like, it's all led up to this moment. I was hoping that we were wrong and that we would see something that would like he would course correct. But to me it's just all very emotionally manipulative. He takes her to lunch. He love bombs her. He gives her flowers. This is a weekend. He decides that I'm going to be exclusive with you. And that's a trap. That's a trap. He's giving her the thing that she wants at a time. The timing is what makes it very important, off of the back of what he knows he did. And that but she, unbeknownst to her, she has no idea what happened. So he's asking her to be exclusive. He's being intimate with her before she even gets a chance to know that he was really flirty with Sierra and low-key saying inappropriate things to her, that he got his toes sucked, and God knows what else happened in there. She didn't get to have that information when she made the decision to be intimate with him, to be exclusive with him. But she did. But what information he did have is that she does not want to be with anybody that is doing any of the things that he did over that weekend. And she was clear with that. Crystal clear.
But also, and it just sucks. I just hope that this doesn't make Lexi jaded, because I've been there before where it's just you completely, at a young age, just take people at their word. And then they do something to betray you. And then all of a sudden you start and just have these trust issues after trust issues. and you can't help it because there's a guy like Jesse that came to you, you know, in your younger years. But like, just let this be a lesson of just like, there is no rush to like immediately want to be exclusive with somebody. Take your time getting to know these people and watch out for these love bomby ass men like Bessie.
And I think just to touch a little bit on the after show, because I think this is super relevant to this, at least this portion of the episode. We have Paige, Sierra, and Amanda in the after show, and they're talking about Lexi and Jesse's dynamics, relationship, and timeline.
Well, that was the other thing. It wasn't just all his doing.
No, it wasn't.
Put a timeline on it. Relationship sex girl.
She said I have 1 month to decide.
I'm not gonna lie, Jesse was like really racking his brain around these 30 days. He was like, we're into the 2-week mark.
No, his options were to be exclusive with her and have sex with her or not to talk to her at all. What would you do?
And it's very clear, and it's disappointing, actually. So I guess we do know how Sierra feels, or most likely handled the whole Jesse situation that's going to come up later in the season. You clocked it, yes. You clocked it. You clocked it, and it was confirmed for me for the after show because, again, as a reminder, these after shows, guys, are filmed very much after the show is being wrapped and filmed, very much after they've gotten to see what's going on in the edited episodes. So they have they have had all of this time to really let what happened over the summer sink in, and they have even had even more time to see what they maybe missed and get more of a context. And Sierra and Amanda still want to give Jesse excuses for how he moved and operated with Lexi, and low-key blame Lexi in the process of rushing him, giving him ultimatums, as if that is something to excuse what he did. And you know who didn't allow that to happen?
We're into the 2-week mark.
I love a man who finds himself in a pickle.
I love a perplexed man, but like, I mean, he was really...
He put his brain in a pretzel.
No,
his options were to be exclusive with her and have sex with her or not to talk to her at all. What would you do? I respect Lexi. I've been there, done that. I put timelines. I put whatever. You really don't need to do that if it's supposed to be.
Paige stepped in and was like, but let's be honest, guys.
The only one with sense.
The only one with sense that was in it. I could see Amanda was like not receiving it, and Sierra was low-key clocking it, like when Paige started interjecting and being like, Paige essentially was just like, listen, let me tell you this. I respect Lexi. I love that she started it off with that. I respect Lexi, and I myself have done that. I have given men ultimatums, so I get it. But what I loved about it, about what she was saying in comparison to what Sierra and Amanda were trying to say, which was that Lexi was being ridiculous and it's pretty much her own fault what happened, was that she was trying to give like constructive criticism about like giving people ultimatums, which is much like what you were kind of like getting at. Like, as you grow and you get older, and Lexi is much younger than them, and this is her time to learn these life lessons. You don't need to give people ultimatums if they really want to be with you. You don't have to give them timelines. If it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. And Paige, through her experience, her lived experience, she has realized like that through her lived experience, that's what she's realized. But she understands and does not fault Lexi for doing that, and for being hurt in the process of that experience. Unlike Amanda, specifically, Amanda's being an absolute fucking hater.
Literally.
And Sierra started falling back a little bit at the end because
but
she
the
realized
problem is,
she just started being real quiet.
Well, because Paige changed her tune. So like if Paige wasn't there, if it was just Amanda and Sierra, it would have been the same thing. But Paige, you know, has a way of like very kind of like what we've been saying about how Paige is very similar to Lindsay. They have minds of their own. And they're very much like, this is my truth, and I'm going to say my truth. And like deep down, they're like, I'm on Lexi's side. Whereas like those other girls blame the woman. And they're literally, Amanda and Sierra are pretty much like the Bravo audience to me. Like very much like looking for ways to excuse the man and somehow
they're not
put it on
girls.
the woman. Yeah,
you've said this time and time again. You have been very like adamant, and I've tried my best to give them, benefit of the doubt, but it's just really hard at this point, especially when you have had all this time to reflect and you still are doubling down. I can no longer give them the benefit of the doubt, right? And they're not, I have come to the conclusion that I agree with you, Shirla. They are not girls. They're only girls selectively when it comes to their tribe. But anybody who is outside of their tribe, good luck to you.
Yeah.
I think that they are more misogynistic forward than they are, feminist forward or I just feel like they more so lean on the side of men first, as opposed to women first. I do.
Agree. I also think that in terms of girls, I feel like everybody on Bravo is really not really girls, to be quite honest. I feel like it's always when it's convenient for them. And this is what we're seeing in Summer House. And listen, it's not just I love Lindsay. She has her moments too.
So
it's always at the convenience of themselves. But I just hate the people who preach to be girls. And
I think
in reality, you're really not.
Exactly.
So it's because if you were, you would have been on the side of Lexi and given her the opportunity to open up to you.
Yes.
And which they never did. And actually, Lexi calls it out at the soft kickball game where she was like, and this is the after show, so it didn't happen in the show, but she was like, I had said to Paige, he told me about the Sierra thing and that hurt me. And Paige was like, she made light of it being like, oh, but you guys weren't even exclusive. And it's like, again, Austin wasn't exclusive with Sierra, but yet it was World War III.
Exactly.
With the Lindsay situation. So it's like, come on, you guys.
And then it's so funny to me. I'm going to make this one point and then we'll move on to the rest of the episode because there's so much more juicier things that happen. But
such a good episode.
Right? To round it off, it's like, okay, guys, Amanda, when I say guys, Amanda and Sierra, you want to say that Lexi was rushing things and moving really fast. Was she rushing things or was she just very clear in her boundaries and her timeline, which you may or may not agree with, but they were very much clear. Whereas Sierra and Amanda like to kind of say what their boundaries are, but they're very much willing to play around, let these people play around in their face for much longer periods of time. And then when they get too burned, mostly Amanda loves the to just be slapped around by Kyle, not physically, but emotionally. And she still is. Sierra, she does have her breaking point, but she has to be completely embarrassed, i.e., getting throwing glasses at people, getting op-eds in the New York Times, for her to be like, I'm done with somebody. It takes crazy events for
but
Sierra
she don't
to be
even
like,
be
I'm
done with them. They be done with her.
That's true.
And then she'd be like, correct. I kiss them.
I know. It's very true. So sorry, Sierra. And Amanda, you deserve Kyle.
Somebody said that too on one of the comments. I think it was on TikTok. Because I was like, why is Amanda, I think it was on one of Bravo's account. I was like, why is Amanda excusing this man's behavior? And literally everybody replied
and she's nasty about it too.
Yeah.
You see when Sierra does it too, it doesn't feel nasty. It just feels like Sierra, when Sierra does it to me, it just feels like indifference. She just doesn't give a fuck about Lexi. And it's not necessarily coming from oh man, fuck that bitch. Da-da-da-da. It's just more, she just literally could care less, right?
Yes.
She's indifferent. When Amanda does it, it seems venomous.
Yeah.
It seems like she wants to blame and to villainize and to really reprimand someone. And she did that and she did that also with Lindsay when she got caught on the hot mic. Carl is acting like this because of Lindsay. She loves to blame women for men's bad behavior.
Yeah.
And that is so telling of why she is with who she is with. Yeah. And that's why I'm going to tell you this. I am finally at a point where I don't give a fuck. And Amanda, you've made your bed, lie in it. I don't care.
This is why
I'm so done with please. I don't hear nothing else about what Kyle does to you.
This is why I said at the beginning that I just can't get I can't get with Amanda. It's just so I will always I'm rooting for you as a woman, but there's just something about you that just
she's a hater.
She is. And it's like, it's giving a little bit of jealousy with the Lexi situation of like, oh,
it
so
is.
you, and the same thing we said that about, what is that girl, the other one, Danielle, where it's like, oh, you have rules for a man? Like, you know, like you should be lucky to be with this person. And it's like, girl, respect yourself.
Amanda is very much a pick-me girl.
Ultimate pick-me girl.
Ultimate pick-me girl. So, okay, well, that was the after show, and that really formed my opinion on how I'm going to be like looking at specifically Sierra and Amanda moving forward in this season. That after show was very eye-opening for me.
Even too, just to piggyback off of like not only the after show, but like Watch What Happens Live, where people like to say Carl is different. Carl said he would not have done anything different than what Jesse did. He was like, she gave him an ultimatum, so like what else was he supposed to do? Excusing bad
That's
behavior.
actually a good thing that you clocked, because I also clocked that too. Also, yeah, like Carl, like they have not changed.
No.
They are, good luck. You guys really want a Carl, if you guys really want a Kyle, if you guys really want a Craig.
Good luck to y'all.
Good luck to you guys in your unfulfilled, emotionally unstable lives. Good luck
and
to
honestly,
you.
Please have them. Take them
Take them off the streets.
Yeah.
For the good women.
Because again, all you guys are going to be out here supporting these men because Carl don't got no job. Craig make less than Paige. Yeah. All you guys are going to be the breadwinners in those relationships. Good luck.
Good luck with that. So now we're at Carl's event in New Jersey. That looks just like their summer house. We're at this very overpriced launch of nothing. And Lil comes off the bus with her Hobby Lobby top and bottom that she made. It wasn't no wrong with it. It was not for the correct event. It was cocktail attire, and that was backyard barbecue attire. I don't know what the fuck she was. Okay, but anyway, we can get off of her.
Yeah,
in her wardrobe.
That's what she likes to wear.
That's what she likes. If you like it, I don't love it, but to each their own.
For us, but
it's not for me. It's not for anyone else. But I think that I'm being rude.
I actually kind of agree with you when you made the comparison with Joe,
right?
Vanderpump Rules. You were very, especially when she was dropping receipts.
Thank you. I was literally just getting there.
You were correct with her.
I was fixing my mouth to say the reason why I'm being a little rude or a lot rude. I'm gonna be honest. I'm being fucking rude as fuck. About oh my god. I mean about I did not Joe. About
what if it is
Lil.
Joe?
She probably a distant cousin. About Lil is because this week she dropped receipts because she is being accused. So I will say she's trying to defend her good name that she did not try to break up a happy home, which is talking or sliding into Carl's DMs.
Happy home.
Right, happy home. Before Carl officially had broken it off with Lindsay, which is what the storyline is leading up to in the next couple of episodes, what's ramping up to. And she's trying to, and I get that. Like, I can't lie. Like, if you feel like if you didn't and do that, you don't want to be a part of the narrative, yes, you're going to drop your receipts. Do I believe her dropped receipts? I don't. And do I, even if those receipts are correct, right? Even if her receipts of like showing the date of when she first made contact with Carl and his DMs are accurate and they're not doctored like I suspect they are a little. I didn't like the message that she put on top of it. She said something like, I don't know where you guys learned your like calendar or like learned your like order of operations of months. But last time I checked, October is after August or whatever. Yeah. Unnecessary. I don't need you to come at me like that, Lil. I just met you. Yeah. I just met you. And so I'm sorry, we are suspicious of you. We don't know you.
But also, no one's blaming you.
No, like, first of all, yeah, we're not necessarily blaming you. We're just trying to figure out if Carl did that. Like, I wouldn't be blaming you. You don't know, Lindsay. But the thing is, like, I don't know, your energy is fucking weird to me. I still think, I do think that you wanted to be on the show. I think you're a fangirl. And I think that you're just mad that it didn't work the fuck out. Like, it's very clear. Like, Carl and Lil, spoiler alert, are not currently together. and so much so not together that they do not follow each other. I don't know what the fuck happened to that. But let me just tell you this, going back to where you said that you agree with me that she's giving off Lilith, is giving off Joe Wenberg vibes, which is Schwartz's ex-fling situationship from Vanderpump Rules.
Mm-hmm.
It started like this.
Yes.
Where Joe was getting accused by fans, by the cast, by Katie Maloney, that she was like a stage 5 clinger, that she was a little bit off her rocker. And especially when things were broken off with her and Schwartz, she really started kind of becoming unhinged on social media. And only time will tell. This is the first little thing that Lil has done on social media, to my knowledge. But she was coming out of the gate a bit aggressive, and I didn't like how it was. And I'm interested as we start diving deeper in with the episodes moving forward about this timeline, if we're going to start getting some Instagram lives from her. She does seem like a person that wants to be on TV, so I wouldn't be shocked if she starts entering the chat.
Yeah. But I'm just like, I need to clarify this timeline too, because like we both heard summer, right? Because Carl said summer, I wrote this, and then she said summer.
So okay, this is the confusion. I rewatched it again. So I know there are Gabby from some people are getting a little backlash. Some people are like loving the fact that she was a bit messy and was like, being bone collector and putting the timeline together. What happened was that Gabby asked at the soft bar launch.
So how do you know?
He met like my whole family because my dad always goes to NYCFC games. And then they like became like buddies, and then I slid into his DMs.
That was last summer, right?
Summer, and then Lil was about to say yes. Then Imrul slid in and interjected.
Oh, the NYFC games.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And corrected her because she was about to say yes. And hold on. But this is where she fucked up later. I think this is where you really clocked in. So I'm gonna get there. So when he kind of like redirected her, because she was going to tell on herself if my suspicions are correct, he kind of gave her a lifeline and was like, no, you're talking about your parents. Your parents met Carl last summer. And she's like, oh, yes. Then Gabby, not letting it go, was like,
last summer, when Lindsay and Carl were still very much engaged, he met your parents and then you slid into his DMs. That's suspicious.
Oh, okay. So, and actually, Imrul kind of accidentally took the life raft back and then was like,
so he's kind of known you for like a year at least.
Yes.
But you guys have been knowing each other now for a year. And she was like, yeah. So that still would put her on the timeline of last summer. So she still did technically agree to the fact that she's been talking to Carl for a year. We can argue that it was not super clear and that she didn't mean it, but technically she did say yes at the end of the day within that conversation, enough for Gabby, I believe, to believe that they were talking since summer. It was a very messy conversation, and I don't think it was clear cut, and I will agree with that. But it still was like enough. I still think there was enough there for Gabby to make a reasonable assumption from what she heard in that conversation that Carl indeed was talking to Lil since the summer. I would say I think it was reasonable.
But my thing is the screenshot though, because the screenshot, she has like the October whatever, and I'm going back to it, and she goes, "Hi, my mom just met you at NYCFC," and she sent that in October.
See, that's why I said I agree with you. So okay, now that we have like what was said on the show, going back to her receipts that she's dropping, I know that looks like that's a smoking gun of that she didn't slide into his DMs until October, like she said, or like they agreed upon saying. But one thing with Instagram is you can unsend messages. Up until right now, I can send Shirla a message right now, and in 6 months, I can unsend that bitch. And it doesn't show that you've unsent it, by the way.
Oh.
So the thing is, I don't put it past Carl being like, I think that if they started maybe really ramping up talking in October, him thinking that this might be his potential girlfriend, him knowing that he would need to cover his tracks because he's been around the block, he's been on TV, and he knows what went down this past summer and how what he said was his reasonings. I wouldn't be like, we're going to have to make sure we have our receipts ready to show that like we didn't start talking until this time because I need to keep my narrative. I know that sounds like that could be a stretch, but for me, I don't think it is. I think that Carl already got a lot of negative press, and when he was initially going through the breakup, a lot of people did start rallying around Lindsay. And if they find out that there is even a hint of a scandal happening, he is like, look at fucking Sandoval. I'm not comparing it. It's not comparable, Sandoval and what's happening between Lindsay and Carl. But I feel like Carl he doesn't want to lose that empathy that he has from the audience. And I could see him being like, let's just have it just in case we need it. I could see it. And also show the rest of the conversation. You should show me this like little part. Like,
I
what
honestly
else?
don't even think it matters because, like, literally, like I said about this freaking fandom, is that they are literally seeing this, and whether it's not even the point of, whether Gabby got the details wrong or not. The point is that Lindsay heard that he was talking to this girl since summer. The narrative of the whole thing has been that it's Lindsay's fault and that he didn't premeditate breaking up with her.
Right.
And this shows that she did. But people are like, she has no right to be mad at this because she's pregnant now. She's pregnant now after they have broken up, but she's getting new information.
And also, no one was going after anybody when in the top of the season on episode 1, when everyone was kind of trying to poke holes in her timeline, when she wasn't the one who wanted to end anything. She was the one being broken up with. Now, if Lindsay had done the breaking up with and she was pregnant with a whole, like, I could understand that more so because I'd be like, oh, that, because she did, everything did move very fast. Yeah. So then I would say, yeah, that is very suspicious. However, we all know how babies are made. It can happen one time. So if she had unprotected sex, obviously, with someone she was talking to after she broke up with, it only takes one time. Guys, I need you to go back to science class. It takes one time to make a baby. Okay? Yeah. One fucking time. Doesn't take like months and years. Yeah. Okay? Well, sometimes, obviously, for people. But you know what I mean. But that's
it's
ridiculous.
Right. She was broken, to your point, she was
broken up with.
And she is, just because she's upset right now doesn't mean that she's not over it. She's receiving new information. And now she's like, this is why I'm so pissed off. Like, I want you guys to understand that he didn't break it up because of me, really. Like, this was like it wasn't
just the things that he wanted to present to the audience to make him look like the victim in this. Like, I'm such a horrible person. I'm going to make you, I'm leading you down the road to relapsing. He's leaving out some details along the way that, yes, maybe he just was like having cold feet, and that maybe he was. The thing is, okay, I also said, whether I think we're getting bogged down in the details too, whether it was Lil or not, because like Lindsay said that like she's piecing things together because for her something didn't seem right, and she has still to this day not understood. Like she felt like she's been missing a piece of the puzzle. So when Gabby is telling her about this new girl and that there might be some indiscrepancies with the timeline of when they actually started talking, I think the thing that's in the back of her head that she didn't really, even to this day, as much as she's mad at Carl, want to believe that he was possibly talking to someone else, it validates her even possibly bringing up the fact, because I know Carl wants to stay on Watch What Happens Live. Now it's so convenient she's bringing this up. But why would she bring it up when she doesn't have any proof? Because then it would just sound like she's just throwing out wild accusations when there is.
You see how he says stuff like that? Just so people get thinking, like, very much like you said, like Craig, what he does.
But what you're not going to do is like try to mislead me, because you're not as good as you like Craig, at least. Like, Craig be getting me on a tailspin, but I'm very crystal clear with you. Not Craig. See, like, even mentioning Craig's name gets me in a tailspin. Carl, I clocked you immediately. I've always fucking clocked you. You are not as good as you think you are, and you only are And that's why you have Kyle with you every time you do anything, because Kyle lives better than you. Because like during Watch What Happens Live, he was always interjecting when he knew Carl was going to fail at the thing that they rehearsed, like why they named it Soft Bar and all these things that they decided was their explanation to continue to make Carl look like he's not a vindictive little bitch, because he is.
He's fooling the audience, though.
He is, but that's why we have our own platform, and we're able to say our opinions and put it out there and hope that somebody catches wind. Catch wind.
Please.
Catch wind, please. But my whole thing is we're getting bogged down with the details, because I do believe that Lindsay did see what she saw, didn't know exactly what she saw, couldn't really say anything because she already knows that like she didn't really have much to go on, and hoped that it was her imagination. Getting more information and context, she is now comfortable of saying what she saw. And I do believe she saw what she saw, whether it was Lil or someone else. I have no idea, but I do believe that it was someone. And I do believe, especially if he was already 1 foot out, and we knew he was that entire summer because we had the luxury of seeing it, and there are people sliding into your DMs, and we know there are people sliding into all of their DMs. I do believe that maybe he was having other side conversations because he was not feeling the softness, the tenderness from Lindsay. And it's very clear that the reason why he's even entertaining Lil, because there is zero chemistry with them, I wrote that down, is because it's what he said in his confessionals. He's like, I don't know what's going to happen with me and Lil, but right now I just really enjoy the fact that she really likes me. That's telling.
He needs a fangirl.
He needs a fangirl. And so I think that it's very possible he was having inappropriate conversations with multiple people or a different person. And if I am correct in my theory that whether it be Lil or someone else, I hope if it was someone else, because Lil clearly wants to stick with her narrative, that person comes to the forefront, and hopefully they have those screenshots.
I mean, to your point, it's probably like either somebody else or multiple people, but you're right in the sense of like in that moment, he kept telling us what he was looking for, and Lindsay wasn't given to him. And so he clearly wanted to go elsewhere to feel like the man, to feel like he's doing something. That's literally what that soft launch was about, to feel like the man, the center of attention, that he's doing something, that his idea is like moving forward. Instead, it's just you're losing money.
Yeah, I feel like I hate to like say that this whole thing is about Lindsay, but I think in a way it is about Lindsay, to show Lindsay that there is something happening, and she didn't show up, and I think that did put a little wrench in it. And then the fact that and I say that too because there was a couple of other moments that made me feel like this was like all a show, a facade to prove something specifically to Lindsay, especially because why did you invite Jason?
Oh my God, that is such a good idea.
Like, did you notice that? So Jason is one. Let's just talk about why that is so diabolical.
That is diabolical.
And I know people will be like, he owes Lindsay nothing. But it seems this is where I say Carl is very vindictive. But he wants to act like he's not. You were not close. You couldn't have possibly been close to Jason, seeing that you were in a whole ass relationship with Lindsay for years, to the point where you're about 2 months out of getting married. So you had one moment with Jason in the winter house, and it almost immediately jumped into a situationship with Lindsay, then a relationship, and then an engagement. You had no time to develop a actual friendship with Jason, to be inviting him to your soft bar launch. So that only leads me to believe you invited Jason there in hopes that Lindsay was going to come to throw that, like, kind of like put that in her face and make her a bit uncomfortable. Because also, if you didn't watch Winter House, Lindsay and Jason had a situationship in the house, which went outside of the house for a little bit, to the point where she got pregnant by Jason, had a miscarriage. So the fact that you knew a pregnant Lindsay who had a trauma that she talked about, that you were there for, that you helped her through, and Jason was so nasty to her during that, and everyone took his side in that, and you were not taking Jason's side in that, you were on Lindsay's side, and you invited him there, knowing that a pregnant Lindsay, and knowing that pregnant people should not be under so much stress, and not knowing how that could possibly trigger her stress, you do that. is diabolical.
That's a good point. And even too, just like, and Lindsay brings it up too, all the food that he was serving, all the raw food. And he kept bringing it up like, this is for pregnant people and all that stuff. It just was very much like, you, come on, we see you.
We do see you, and that's a great point, and I'm glad you like buttoned it with that, because it's like he wants to. I feel like he only started saying the pregnant thing when Lindsay didn't show, and it was a way to be like, I invited her to this one just because extending an olive branch, and also I wanted to show like, you know, incorporate her. She's pregnant, she can't even drink. I want to incorporate like, and how this is such an amazing idea. It can reach a lot of different demographics, pregnant people, people who are sober, people who are having a different lifestyle change, all these different things. But I don't feel like that was something that was an intentional, what's the thing called for when businesses have their like mantra?
Oh,
it's
their
like
tenants?
No, like they're like what their company is known for. Like they're
about, like they're, I don't know, I can't think of it right now.
I can't think of the word, but there's like when companies have like what their thing is, like what they
I think mantra is the right way.
Mantra.
Yeah, mantra.
That's not the word I'm looking for, but that works.
Yeah.
Their mantra. I don't feel like that was something that he sat down, he wrote down. It was an intentional thing. I think that was something he thought of after the fact, because Lindsay didn't come and he just threw out there. And I say that to the point of when Lindsay's like, well, he didn't have not one single thing that would accommodate a pregnant person food-wise. Like, it was actually all the food that she wouldn't be able to eat. So she would have been stuck in New Jersey with nothing to eat.
And it was hot. So imagine just like that lady, a pregnant
unless you
lady.
intentionally did that to make her uncomfortable. So it's either you made this shit up and didn't think it through and just made that shit up on the spot, or you are even more diabolical than I thought and you wanted to make sure she didn't have anything to eat. So I don't know which one is it.
And it's just like, I also want people to understand, like, one, you are the only other person that sees this clearly, because we've been watching Bravo for years and we know these men, and people want to say like, Carl is not who he's different because he's not drinking. You know, you can't blame everything on alcohol and substance abuse. Like, he was very nasty to women, and he's been nasty to women sober. He just hides it better. And so seeing like these fandoms of like the women of the show, on the show too, but the women who are fans of the show, who are writing so many think pieces on how like of a monster Lindsay is, and how I just have a soft spot for Carl. Carl is 40 years old without a job.
And never has been able to hold a job down.
Never. And for some reason, everyone always just feels like I want people to understand that it's not like we want him to fail. It's never that. We want people to do well, but you need to understand that. Think about, is this actually a good concept, or are you just saying this because you like him? Because
and we actually, they kind of touch on that, Shirla, in the after show and in the confessionals. So, like, it's very clear that Wes, Paige, and Jesse, you know, I get it. They're trying to be good friends. They're not going to be, like, shitting on his idea necessarily, but maybe they should, because they were fighting for their lives in the confessionals to understand what this was. And it's so interesting to me, them fighting for their lives, and they're essentially them saying is like, I don't know what this is. I don't know the longevity in it. He's my friend, so I'm going to support him. Love that. But, like, it's so telling the fact that last year, when Lindsay already knew what they're kind of realizing now, or at least being a little bit more vocal about, everyone wanted to act like she was crazy or like mean. It's like, yeah, you might not have liked her delivery, but she was not wrong. And even Carl says this in the after show. Then now all of a sudden, Carl is like, honestly, I know Lindsay got a lot of like flack, led by you, Carl, for like putting down my idea, but it's what led me to understanding that I should probably expand my idea more, like with like making it more into also a coffee bar, like, and having other options and all these other things. And that's all Lindsay was really saying. Like, I mean, I still think she doesn't believe in the brick and mortar, but like, again, like I said last week, I wouldn't be surprised if later on they had conversations like, if you're going to do brick and mortar, this is how you should do it, because he does say that Lindsay did help him come up. He's not like saying that it was her idea, like all this stuff, but like it is what led him to making an actual plan. And he said that there are a lot of people that keep blowing smoke up his ass and kissing his ass about the soft bar. And he said, honestly, I do kind of need the feedback.
Yeah.
Now he's okay with getting feedback, but he was making it seem like it wasn't okay. And then Kyle over here walking it back too, like, yeah, like I went to one of the #1 business schools, entrepreneur schools or whatever. And like a lot of people would have bad ideas but no one wanted to tell anybody that they're bad ideas. But it's really important to tell people that, maybe not as harshly as Lindsay did. Yeah, but you guys weren't saying this at all last season. You were just making it seem like she wasn't supportive, and you weren't also being like, well, Lindsay, maybe just say it nicer. But yeah, you're kind of right. Like, she's kind of right, Carl. We need to like look at it from this angle. You just wanted to like make her into a villain and push your agenda of splitting Carl and Lindsay up, more so than letting your friend know that this idea was not the best.
But it's also ego too. It's like, I don't understand why you have to go from 0 to 100. Like, we've said it here, like, why do you need to open a bar? Like, bars itself that sell alcohol are also bleeding money, but they are able to have alcohol to support them and like kind of make up some of the profits. But like, you're going to a non-alc bar where, of course, there are spaces where people who don't drink and they want spaces to hang out and all the things, but you also have to incorporate something else to it. But it's like, why don't you start off small and get people to trust you and make money? And then later on, the 5-year plan would be to open up a bar. And like, instead, you already have the truck. You already paid for the truck. Yeah. So even if you're renting it, keep renting it and use that to your advantage and let people get used to it and be like, oh my God, I'm now a regular for this truck. And I would love to, now I'm definitely going to support your bar business.
Yeah, because it's at the end of the day, like we kind of touched on this a couple episodes back, like brick and mortar, they're like, whether you're profitable or not, rent's going to be due every month, right? And it's going to be a lot of rent. And then
especially
also
in Brooklyn.
Exactly. And on top of rent, the utilities that come along with that and the staffing and all that stuff. So whether you're profitable or not, which most businesses are not profitable in their first year, that's just how business works. You have to like, are you going to be able to sustain paying your bills, paying your workers and the insurance on top? Like, there's it's just, to your point, Shirla, I think that he bit off a lot, and this is not me wanting him to fail. It just doesn't make sense. And maybe we're fucking wrong. And I don't want to see anybody fail. I'm not here to wish him to fail. It's just, I think I'm more so, and I think this is your frustration. People are acting like what Lindsay said last year was crazy. And now everyone is slowly realizing, after this man has sunk so much money into this, now we're kind of being like, I don't really know what the longevity of this is. Could you not have told your friend that last year before he put $100,000 into this? It has to work now. It has to work.
It's also frustrating because people always say giving feedback and criticism is as if we want him to fail or we hate him. No, like, this is not a well thought out idea. And, we've lived in New York. We live in big cities. We know, yes, there's an open market, but like, even in terms of like a bar, why don't you try this in Utah, where there's a huge population where they can't drink? So it's like, that's actually something.
That's just, again, I like, when I'm like, whenever we talk about Carl Soft Bar, I feel like we should preface the fact that our backgrounds. One, Shirla has a background. She is she's in marketing. So this is like her entire job, which is why she actually keeps coming up with so many really, really good ideas on how to turn this around for Carl. The reason why I'm like very much talking about the paying of the bills, the staffing, I have worked in hospitality at one of the biggest
and best.
One of the biggest and best restaurant companies in the world. Literally, it's global. For 10 years, and I am like one of the top staff at this location. Mm-hmm. So I'm very privy to all of this and what it takes to expand, to grow, and all of the red tape.
But you've also been in spaces where they've certain bars that have just opened, certain restaurants.
Yes, I've opened. Yes, I've opened restaurants again for huge restaurant companies, well-established restaurant companies, and that same restaurant closed down in the pandemic. Like and that restaurant was just a restaurant in the umbrella of restaurants. I mean, I can say it. I worked for Tao. I worked for Tao. I opened there at the time, and it was like 2016. Vandal.
Oh my God, I remember Vandal. I love Vandal.
Yes, I opened that restaurant. And that was partnered with people like the executive chef was one of the biggest chefs on from Top Chef. Like they had all the backing and stuff like that, and that business still crumbled. In the granted, it was the pandemic, but that is just to show you like a huge restaurant like that, like the struggles that they had. And I remember the struggle. Oh my God! If you've never opened a restaurant, guys, I don't recommend it. Like. It is so chaotic. It is. They lost so much money on the first night we were open because things just go fucking wrong. And that's like, again, Tao is a very well-established place. And if things can go wrong for a well-established place that has many doors, I'm telling you, like,
yeah, like that's what Lindsay was trying to say. But like everybody looks at, and she says it too. Like she's like, I'm more loud and outspoken. And he is not. And so everybody always gravitates to the person who seems like they can't stick up for themselves or speak. And so it always feels like I'm yelling at him or talking at him. But it's really, you can just sense it in that conversation that they had on camera. You could absolutely tell that they've had this conversation 500 times. Yeah. And he just wanted it to be on camera because he knew the points that we keep making, the same thing that Craig does with Paige. They know the triggers and they're like, I'm going to just say this on camera. And it's like for Craig, he's like, I know Paige has to cover it up because we are looked as the perfect couple on camera. And for Lindsay, it's like, I'm trying to break up with her. So I want to activate Lindsay and put the veil down. It's like they know.
They know. And hopefully people like us who are pointing it out will, again, please, everyone, catch wind. Please
it drains us. Please open your eyes to these Bravo.
Today drained me.
I'm tired of being in these comment sections, and people are yelling at me. I literally just say one thing and be like, oh my gosh, that was so mean of Carl. And it's like, do you know what he's been through? I'm like, you don't.
Oh, I'd be fighting people too in the comments of like other people's videos, like, and not even my own. Like, I'll just be like perusing. And if I see a comment that I don't agree with, I'm like, I think it was a comment. I did say a comment about Carl, and someone was saying, well, Lindsay has had a history of, there's always a problem with every single relationship she's been in. And I said, I would like to also counter that so has Carl. There has not been a relationship that he has been in on television that there hasn't been an issue with as well. So if we're going to go there, we can go here. And now what do you have to say? Like I am not saying that Lindsay has, and we've said that ourselves. Like, Lindsay does not have a great track record.
But that's the difference between us. We could be like, girl, call
but
her
I'm like,
out.
but you're not going to be like, oh, but look at Lindsay, like this, like look at fucking Carl. Like, tell me a relationship. Tell me a relationship that there wasn't some type of drama. I'll wait.
Remember that girl that he was like, that the first time him and Lindsay were in a situationship, and then the Berries girl.
That's what. Yes, it was like. Then he went and he talked to it's. People want revisionist history.
The Love Island girl that he brought, it's always the same. Literally always the same.
There's he has a long history. The workest, one of the workest. Whatever the hell her name was.
Don't just fucking say that.
Carl, that's ridiculous.
What's ridiculous is that I don't talk to you like that ever.
Paige during the week.
Pantry Paige.
Danielle.
Danielle actually was brought on to piss off Lauren, one of the Workers twins. That's actually why he brought her on. Yeah. Let's not forget that. That was because he wanted. He no longer wanted to talk to that twin.
Girlfriend.
What are you guys doing? Carl. My sister looks so freaking pathetic right now that this guy has so much power over her. Carl. Lauren?
I'm going to bed.
No, you don't have to do that.
I thought you go to bed.
Hey, Lauren! Guess what? I asked you a question that's stupid.
Stop.
Lauren?
This is the point.
Why are you what the f*** are you guys doing, Lauren? Ashley.
It's nothing to do with you.
What are you doing? Ashley.
Don't do that.
And he brought Danielle on to piss her off, and it worked. And she threw him a watermelon down in front of his room. Does no one remember that? I'll try to find the clip and insert
that
it.
is pre sober Carl, so all of his behavior has been excused.
Yes, and by the way, the year he got sober, I know there was a lot of things happening for him, but he was his worst that year. And he was his worst with women specifically. And because he came onto the reunion, it was like when they were doing, it might have been around COVID time because it was a virtual reunion. That's when he was like, I'm getting sober. And that kind of took him out of the hot seat, because it's like, what are you going to do to a person who is saying that they're getting sober? Obviously, they know whatever they did was one of the reasons why they're getting sober. So it's like, why pile on him? So he really got out of any accountability of how he was treating people that season. So I don't know. But like at the end of the day, we can feel bad and empathetic for Carl's disposition when he was drinking and really be happy that he turned his life around. But that doesn't absolve the people you impacted when you were like how you were.
Jules.
So,
justice for Jules.
Justice for Jules. That's what I was thinking of.
We got to hold people accountable here. Like we can be fans of certain people, but you have to then point out just the things that they're showing us. And if it's not right, we call it out. We can still enjoy them, but we call it out.
Exactly. So wrapping it up, really, the rest of really what happens is we find out, or Paige and Gabby really kind of give Jesse the third degree about Lexi and they're both like, I actually wrote down Paige is so much better when she's not with Amanda and Sierra, because she was really yes-anding Gabby when they were interrogating Jesse about Lexi, because he was trying to like make all these excuses and they were kind of like really poking holes in giving it to him. And we've kind of already discussed it, so I don't really want to beat that horse. We know he's lying. We know the timeline about the toe sucking. They're not buying it. They're not believing it. Gabby is calling it out. Like, you essentially want to be exclusive with this girl because you want to have sex with her. Paige picks up on the fact, the way that he's kind of like, like stuttering, like super studying. Oh, you already had sex with her.
I can see it in your body language.
Exactly. I will say this, Jesse Solomon is really good at getting himself out of precarious situations. And I'm not going to lie, it was hilarious. And I'm going to give him full credit for this. It was hilarious how he did get himself out of that situation of continuing that conversation.
You had sex.
I'm not. No.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. This is what you do.
Listen, I don't want to kiss and tell.
That's respectful.
This guy's here.
Can't say anything in front of him.
Can't say anything in front of this guy. He looks trustworthy, but we don't know yet.
With being like, I can't really get into it because of this guy over here.
That's straight.
Yes. And then it pans over to, it was hilarious. And I fully will give him comedic credit for that. I appreciated it. I wrote it down. It reminded me of our favorite movie, Bridesmaids. Like that bit that they do at the top of Brides, well, not the top, but like when they go to Maya Rudolph's bridal or engagement party, and Kristen Wiig there's like that one black, or there's always some random man that's behind Kristen Wiig, and everyone's always like, oh, is this your fella? And it's like, no, I don't know this person. And it's like that running bit. That's what it reminded me of. And it was so funny. And I actually appreciated it. That's even the one time I'm going to appreciate Jesse Solomon getting out of something. It was funny.
Even like outside of that, like that just reminded me, like him and Wes just walking into Carl's event. And they're like, ooh, there's merch. Oh, what are we going to do without alcohol? Interesting. So just juice? Like, it's just so... They actually had me laughing. Like, this episode was so well done. And one of the things...
so good.
I don't mean to, like, because it's in my head, because you know how both of us are. We're just like, that's in my head. I have to say it now before I forget it.
Where's Jaleeza?
Right. Jesus. To keep us... We were all over the place. But, like, it's always good and fun. Nah. But there was I saw it on TikTok, and the girl reminded me, she was like, this episode didn't have Amanda and Kyle in it. And it felt so refreshing because we didn't have Kyle just being, his whole personality being,
I want to have fun. I'm out of here.
Drunk. We didn't have Amanda just like talking about, like pushing Sierra on to what's his face.
No, his options were to be exclusive with her and have sex with her or not to talk to her at all. What would you do?
Because she would have been defending Jesse in that moment, and instead,
we wouldn't have gotten as much information out of Jesse as we did if Amanda was a part of that conversation. Because what she would have been doing, unlike, I mean, I don't know this for sure, but from patterns of seeing her, she would have absolutely been interjecting to protect Jesse in the moment, and we would have and Paige. And again, like, I think that Paige is really coming into her own and being able to have an opinion outside of Amanda and Sierra in real time more often now. But I don't know if Paige would have been as like helpful if Amanda had been present. At that time.
Yeah.
So
but this is the shift that I think we need for this show. That episode was just so good, and we've been saying it, seeing it more time in the city. And and being like, yes, of course we missed the house. They can go to the house every once in a while. But like just seeing the dynamics of them in the city, going to dinner, playing. Also, shout out to Volo, because I've done Volo in New York and I do it here in DC. It's so fun to do with your friends. So they have it every summer, sometimes fall, and you could do all types of sports. So it was like fun seeing them do kickball because me and my friends do that as well. Just like, good.
Yeah, and before we get over to kickball, to wrap up the soft bar, I mean, Jesse did weasel his way out of that whole interaction, not before finding out from Paige and Gabby that they also were like, let's also talk about, okay, you want to try to rewrite history or whatever the fuck happened in that room about the toe suck or the toe sucking situation. I think, did he tell them about the toe sucking?
No, they found out about Bailey. No, Bailey brought it up after they talked about Sierra.
So besides the toe sucking, so in that conversation, they do end up bringing up the fact that, like, okay, you want to be exclusive with Lexi, but like, what about how you were being with Sierra? And him really trying to act as if that was like they were embellishing. And even to the point where he was about to throw Sierra under the bus and be like, what is she saying? No, baby boy, we have eyes.
That was so good. That was so good.
So don't even try to be like Sierra's making it seem like anything. No, you made it seem because just what the fuck you were doing. So then he gets all fucking scared and scurries on over to Sierra to be like, okay, what are you saying? What are you saying? And then that's when Bailey, because Imrul at some point, because I kind of skipped over this, but Imrul at some point had mentioned to Bailey and Sierra what happened over the weekend and that Jesse got his toes sucked. So then when Jesse goes and tries to not confront Sierra, but I think try to align their stories or see what her perspective was.
Yeah.
And then they kind of say, oh, also you got your toes sucked. He's like, oh, fuck.
Left and right. Like that random guy again.
Like, exactly. Right. But what I didn't understand, Jesse, you see Bailey here at this party. Why did you not think that was not a loose end that you needed to like immediately tie up and tell Lexi about? Because I feel like what he tried to do was be like, well, the Sierra thing is going to be a bigger deal to her and not the toe sucking thing. And I feel like he was trying to reverse, like, what's it called? You use reverse psychology on Lexi, the cast, and us by being like, this is the thing that's really going to piss Lexi off. It's the whole Sierra thing, not the toe sucking thing. That's like stupid. That's stupid because there's really, like, I feel like he actually tried to amplify that more because he knew the toe sucking thing was bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a misdirect because like he has probably at this point made the decision that he's like, whatever, I'm not going to like actually pursue Sierra. So it's not going to like really matter. And so I'm going to just tell Lexi about this. Like, I can't believe they think that I'm like talking to Sierra and like whatever, and hoping that will be the thing that catches on. And then unbeknownst to him later on, when we get to kickball, it all unravels. But like, I think I would have just said the whole thing.
Yeah.
Cause like, I don't know, like it's very clear now everybody knows of the toe sucking thing. How you didn't think that Lexi was going to find out is beyond.
But that's the thing of like, I don't think this is where it's just like, it just boggles my mind because it's just like, you either don't care or you're just like, you're going to use it as an excuse of like, oh, she's making it a bigger deal than it should be. And just like blame that on her.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what goes in his head.
I feel like he's like dabbling with a lot of different like choose your own adventure ways in handling that. I don't know. But all I know is once we get to kickball, things start getting really juicy.
Oh, it was good. It was good. It was good.
So we're at kickball and everybody is having their side conversations. We have Gabby and Lindsay kikiing about Carl, and we kind of touched on this. They're trying to piece together the timeline. We're going to put a pin in that because we're going to find out that Lindsay has a plan in place to confront Carl. So we're very excited for that. And she does kind of drop a little bit of hints to Carl, because when Carl does greet Lindsay, she kind of gives him the back the fuck up with the hand, like no high five for you, bro.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what that means, but he about to find out.
He can sense it. He like something's coming.
Something's a brewing. And then we have we have Wes kind of sad that Sierra doesn't show up for the softball thing, which I actually respect, because in the after show we find out from Sierra that the whole reason why he even did it this season, this kickball thing, is because last season he told the ladies about it. And he had all these games that we never like saw, and like some of the cast had supported him, specifically Sierra, because obviously they were talking at the time. And Sierra said she went to every one of those kickball games.
Yeah, it's every week, child. It's every week.
And so I get that. Like, it's like, bitch, I went to every one of your fucking lame ass kickball games. Maybe they're not lame, but like now that we're not together, lame ass kickball games, and you ain't about to have me at another one. Yeah. You're not together. And I get that. I actually really respected that. Like, protect your peace.
I was happy she didn't show up.
Yes, protect your peace.
Yeah, she don't need to.
But then, and I also did like that Wes was very like protective of Lindsay and like wanted to make sure she was included in it, wanted to make sure that she was safe. Yeah, like she was safe, and she to the point where he spoke to his mom about like if this was okay for her to do. But like not being like telling her what to do, just by being like, I spoke to my mom. I just wanted to like, I on my end do everything I can to make sure that you were going to be safe. But it's obviously whatever you feel and you're comfortable with. And I thought that was a really nice moment. I know that I think that like honestly the thing that Wes said in that Lindsay called him out about a couple of weeks ago about like why would she be in the house? She has a baby. I think that he just that was something that he just said in the moment, in a sense of like wasn't saying that she can't be in that house.
Well, it sounds like it was taken out of context, though.
Yeah, and I think that when Lindsay heard that, I think that she didn't know the full scope. But whether it was not, I feel like they squashed it, and it's not something that's going to be a big deal.
But that's why we like her, because she goes straight to the source.
Right. Like again, like if it was taken out of context, I think she found that out quickly. Yeah. And if it wasn't, he found out quickly not to do that ever again. Yeah. So that whether like I love that. But I do like West. I really do. I enjoy him, and
he just needs to stop trying to worry. It's the same thing that Kyle does on Beverly Hills, where you do things based on audience reaction. And it's just like, be yourself and move forward. Like, stop worrying about what the audience is going to think. And that's what gets you in trouble.
Yeah, I think that's because just honestly, for the most part, I feel like the way West is behaving or this season is completely fine. He's had a little hiccups here and there. And I think that he needs to like stop having such expectations for Sierra. Like, he should stop that. But I mean, there's nothing that I'm like, fuck this man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
not like I feel like, to me, the way Jesse is like, I'm not saying Jesse can't come back from anything he's done this season, but I'm just saying in general, like the way that he moves, I feel like that's a like integrity thing with him, and so I don't know if I like him as a person in general. So it's not even necessarily the situation. It's just like, oh, this is how you handle things. Right. It's not about Lexi for me. It's about like, I don't know, like, are you just another horrible, toxic person? Right. That's my issue with Jesse.
And also, like, we just like for Wes, it wasn't anything that he was doing. It was more so we were just being for Sierra, just like, stop letting this man bother you. Yeah. And the moment she stopped letting that man bother her, she's living her best life. And so, like, he just doesn't bother us. And to your point, Jesse, he's annoying because he's going unchecked. So it was also very nice to see Gabby be like, no. Hold up. And it seems like she's going to keep her foot on that man's neck. And I love that.
And I think that, again, this is a turning point for Gabby and Lexi's relationship. And I'm happy that because she became very protective of Lexi throughout this whole kickball game. And I just loved the whole, it just felt like very high school, but like in a fun way. Like you had the group of girls.
Boys
like
and the girls.
Yeah. Like the girls were gossiping. Like Lindsay's like filling the girls in about what her suspicions are. And, and Gabby being like, this is a timeline. I'm like, this is what I think. And like the girls like eating it up.
Yeah.
Again, I'm so happy Sierra and Paige weren't there to like we really just got to have a real gossip session without like someone playing devil's advocate for the men.
Yeah.
It's like Paige is like
men.
even if Paige had like her own like maybe that like she was like this isn't the time for that. Like this is just the time for us.
We're
to,
shitting
like,
on men today. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and like sometimes you like even if you're like I could like you're like this isn't the time, and I love that. And then also in that process of that, Lexi starts finding out about really what happened last weekend, and that also was interesting. And then hearing like Carl and talk with the boys about how he thought the event went, and the girl Lil, and then segueing into Jesse.
So well done this episode.
Yes, and then everybody at this point now knowing that Jesse got his toe sucked.
Yeah, and
everyone being like trying to like they're like we're trying to like defend you on that, but like also it's kind of hard. That one was kind of a hard one.
Yeah.
And then Emerald being like, yeah, I know you got your toe sucked. And like him being like, I'm gonna say, yeah, you did though. You did. You did. Like he was like, but you're the one who said it, Emerald. Like you suggested it. And you're like, he was like,
you're the one who got
yeah, but you did it.
You could have said no.
Right.
I also like the fact that Lindsay was like, with Lexi, she's like, somebody else could catch the ball. Let's talk at first base.
Exactly.
That was so fun.
Because like Lexi is still trying to fight for her life, like, and try to like rationalize and piece together, whatever Jesse has already told her about the Sierra stuff, right? And she's like, listen, I wasn't here this weekend, so I have to, full disclosure, I wasn't. Lindsay's like, I was not there, but I also heard what happened and what went down last week. And I heard that he was all over Sierra. And I not only heard that, because you're trying to say that Jesse was like, we were brother, sister, like everyone's taking it out of context. But then he also went on to say if West hadn't called dibs, he would have pursued. That was a key piece of information he left out.
Oh, she's a good reality star.
Exactly. We need a Lindsay. We need the mess. And so then let's play kickball. We have the boys just not understanding what is actually happening with the women, and the women like strong arming them. And it's so great, to the point where obviously like Jesse is trying, like, he knows something is off because like immediately he's like, Lexi, can I give you advice? She said, not right now. And the way she said it, he was like, oh, like he knew. In that moment, he knew, because he immediately goes over to Lindsay because he had seen them kikiing. And he was like, oh, Tenna's head went up. He's like, what were you guys talking about? And she's like, I mean, I have to be honest. You.
I love her. So.
You, babe.
Right.
And it doesn't look good.
It's up for you to kick him. You're not.
I was like, Lindsay's like, she knows about the toes. She knows about the toes, Jesse.
Was that
and
the
I'm
baby
telling
kicking?
you,
I've got to go.
Yeah, I'm rubbing her something like, I don't know. It does seem weird. Like she like sachets away. And then he immediately beelines for Lexi, like, it's not a big deal. It does seem like it's a big deal enough for you not to tell me. Okay.
Ooh.
But we'll chat later.
I love Lexi. I love her. Team Lexi.
We'll chat later, honey. So let's play ball. And so they play their kickball. They win. Love that for everybody.
So fun.
Paige wins it for them. Paige is having a great episode.
So much fun, though.
Once she shook Craig away, she is just light as a feather, not stiff as a board. It was
they
great.
Looked like they was having so much fun. I just loved it so much.
Honestly, the weight of Craig, Amanda, and Sierra not there, like Paige was living her best life. And I'm happy for it. And so then we're like, they win the game. We are about to roll credits, but not before Lexi and Jesse are having their conversation about essentially Jesse. I know he spent that whole game trying to figure out how he was going to lie to her. And he does.
He does.
And he does.
He does.
He is like making it seem like what happened was a joke. It wasn't a big deal. What about like, you're getting me hard as a joke? Like, it's not a joke. He didn't say it in a joking way. he's just not being honest with her. And
No.
it sucks. And I feel bad for her.
I feel so bad for her in, you know, not only in the moment of what she was going through, hearing that, but also having to watch back and see the women of the house make, you know, take advantage of the fact, like, again, we're not blaming the women, but like as Lexi, I'm sure it felt super hurtful watching, you know, Amanda egging on the situation as if just like, you know, not taking it seriously. And I don't know if it has to do with like they feel like she's so young, so they don't take it seriously, or they're like, it's been too soon. But whatever it is, find out the situation, not just through him. Like you owe her, you know, a safe space to talk about like how she feels and then be like, okay, where are you guys really? Because you know these men. They're always lying. So like give her that opportunity to see how she feels and then not egg on that situation, because now looking back at it and watching it as we're watching it, just my heart breaks for her. I know she just like she feels icky.
I
She
mean,
better have a good reunion too and better be calling everybody out.
I can't wait. I feel like I'm so excited for the reunion, like because I'm excited to see Gabby. I'm excited to see Lexi. I'm excited to see where Paige ends up falling in, because this is going to be the first time that like every single reunion that we've had Paige, she's been in opposition with Lindsay, and she is still friends with Lindsay. We have never made it this far with Lindsay and Paige still being okay. This is a big milestone for us. Now, if they can hold on to the reunion, I would love it, because this would be the first reunion. Paige is not in opposition with Lindsay, and I want to know how we will navigate these conversations. I think it's going to make for like a much more interesting reunion with Paige actually finally being in the middle.
Yeah. I would love to. I love it.
And also, to wrap up the recap, I love the fact that it ends. It does end on the Lexi and Jesse conversation, but just right before that, it ends on Lindsay and Paige talking about Lindsay's plan to confront Carl, and how she doesn't want him to get wind that she's going to do it, because she doesn't want him to come up with a bunch of excuses. She wants to catch him off guard. And Paige eating it up. And Paige eating it up. And it's just like, they are so much more powerful, so much more interesting and fun together.
Did you see a little clip of like the...
I did. I know what you're talking about.
It's so good. Like, I just love that Paige was like, Lindsay Hubbard raised me. And then the fact that she's like, Lindsay is very much, I know who I am, and even if I'm wrong, I'm going to say it. And Paige is like, I'm like that now.
Yeah.
And it's like, they get each other now. They speak each other's languages.
And I believe it was either you or Jaleeza or both of you. I think we all said this at some point in, I think, our first recap of the first 3 episodes of Summer House. When Paige and Amanda made a reference to the fact that they're older now, and they're like, oh my gosh, like watching the younger girls like Bailey and Lexi run around and have all this energy. It's like, oh my gosh. They're starting to finally play catch up, and they're finally at the age now that Lindsay was when they entered the house. They are now Lindsay. They are now Danielle. I actually think that Paige is Lindsay and Amanda is Danielle.
That's
to be honest
true.
with you. They both need to shake their Danielles. And they won't. But anyway.
They let them embarrass themselves.
Exactly. But it's just so funny that like in the preview that's what Shirla's referencing. They gave us they dropped a sneak peek for next week's episode 9, and Lindsay picks up Paige to go to the weekend, which has never happened in the history of Summer House. They have and by the way, that's a big deal. If you don't know how big of a deal that is, it's not just because they're like, you know, riding in a car together. Like they're committing to what can be like 4 to 5 hour long car ride together. And these were people who were mortal enemies. So for them to commit to that amount of time isolated together is such a huge thing.
And they look comfortable with each other too.
So comfortable, so happy. And that's when we get Paige talking about the evolution of the place that she's with Lindsay, and it's beautiful to watch. And I'm so happy. And Shirla, I know that you started out very hesitant that this would be an actual thing.
Yeah. I'm nervous.
Are you there? Are you
No,
there
I'm
yet?
not
Are you there yet?
I'm not there yet until
Okay.
the reunion, because that's why I've said that's
fair.
the reunion.
That is
But
absolutely fair.
I am aligned with you, and it's just because, just like with the fandom where I said like they're gonna be on Lindsay's ass and they still are on her ass. I just have trust issues with this.
I get it.
But I agree
and
with
I
you
get it.
that it is different, that they are friends, still speaking to each other in real time. That is different. So I'm slowly getting there, but the reunion is really what's gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're like, again, we're halfway through. It's actually flying by. I'm really enjoying this season so far.
Great season.
It's a great season. I am so enjoying it. I don't know. That's all I can say. I'm
it's just
enjoying it.
Summer to like how summer's fun again. These people are having fun, and they are having their problems, but they are resolving. Unlike the Housewives, where they will literally talk about one point for 17 episodes.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of different things happening,
different stories.
Whereas, like in the past summers, it was like the Carl and Lindsay show for actually 2 summers, which was so like annoying, or or if it was a subplot, it was like the Danielle thing. Like, I'm so happy that there's so many different things happening with all of them. So it's just like we get these like little caveats, or like just have these like little tableaus of like different people in the house and situations, and we get to like go around, and then they all connect. It's great. It's turning out to be a fun summer.
Yeah.
So on that note, that concludes our recap of Summer House episode 7 with me, your host Pia, and my Bravo sleuth. Jaleeza.
That's okay, girl.
I miss her because I miss her.
Okay.
I'm gonna plop her right above your head like a little thought bubble. But with my Bravo sleuth Shirla, Jaleeza was not with us this episode, but her presence was missed, especially for you guys, because we definitely went on a lot more tangents than typical. I tried my best.
We tried best, but that's how our brain works. So deal with
what
this.
are we to do?
Right.
What are we to do? I
literally
can't help
when
you
a thought
on
comes
that.
in our head, we're like, we gotta talk about it.
Yeah. So and we did. So enjoy.
It was
enjoy
fun.
that.
It was fun.
Summer should be fun.
This podcast fun.
All right, I think that's the best we've done it.
I think because it was.
I feel like we're finding the rhythm of it. We found the rhythm. We found the rhythm.
My computer about to die though.
Okay, well, and on that note, we'll see you next week for episode 8 recap. Or no, wait, was this? No, this was episode 8. No, this was
9.
This was episode 9. Well, I feel like I might have been saying 7 this entire episode. So
no,
if
I think you said previews for the next episode 9. So I think you're gonna write whatever.
Well, I'll find out when I'm editing, child. But we will be recapping episode 9 next week, and we will have the whole group chat here. And because we want you to be a part of our group chat, if you agreed, disagreed, or just wanted to add some more flavor to the group chat, please do it in the comments. Slide into our DMs like Lil.
Don't do that.
Do it, and preferably for your timeline of sliding into our DMs, do it before we record, because we record episode drops. The new episodes of Summer House drop on Wednesday. We record on Friday. So if you can get to us before Friday, that would be great. So we can also incorporate you in your comments into our group chat. So I will have all of our information listed in the show details. You can follow Shirla on Instagram at Shirla Divine. And you can also find and follow Shirla on TikTok at Shirla Divine 00.
Bye, Pia.
Have fun. I'm out of here.
I think that was the best outro we've done with our little tagline, Summer should be fun. This podcast is fun. And I feel like moving forward, it's just going to get better. Now we have to like get Jaleeza into the rhythm. Okay. So I was really proud of the outro this week. Okay. Otherwise, I hope that you enjoyed our recap of Summer House. Shirla and I try to hold it down without our Bravo bestie Jaleeza. We did miss her, but I think that we still, although I tried to not put us on too many tangents, it was inevitable, and you knew that. I think you guys knew that before we started, so whatever. I think the tangents were necessary. Do you like the tangents? Let me know in the comments. Well, if you really hate the tangents, I will try to be better about them. But if you're loving the tangents, let us know, because then we'll keep doing what we're doing. And if there is anything you would like us to pop off about next week, again, like I said in when we were ending the recap, we record on a Friday. The episodes come out on a Wednesday. So if you can get into our DMs, if you can get into the chat or the comments, and you want us to talk about something that's happening during the week in pop culture, or if you want to add to the conversation because you didn't hear what you wanted to hear about last week's recap, or you want to add to what's going to happen on this week's recap, let us know. The comments are where you do that. The DMs can be where you do that if you don't want people to know what you're saying. And if you are like, I have like a think piece on this, you can go ahead and you can email me at the podcast. The email is going to be Pia Pop Culture guru@gmail.com. And also don't forget to follow my Bravo besties, my Bravo sleuths, even Jaleeza, even though she wasn't here, but you should still follow her because she always has a lot of great feedback and opinions, and she'll be back with us next week. You can follow Shirla and Jaleeza on their social media platforms. Shirla, you can follow her on Instagram, and that's going to be Shirla Divine. And you can also follow her on her TikTok. That's Shirla Divine 007. And follow Jaleeza on Instagram, and that's going to be Jaleeza LH. And if you are in the car, do not pull over. Do not try to get a pen and paper to write that down, because all of this will be listed in the show details below. And again, don't forget to follow me, your host, Pia Pop. I'm the Pia of the Pia Pops Off. And you can follow me on all my socials at PiaJV on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube to see the visual of us. If you want to see these popping off voices, these sexy voices, I don't know. You want to see what we look like when we go on tangents? You can pop over to the YouTube for the visual, where I put in lots of graphics to help tell the story, to set the scene, and really paint a pretty picture of our Summer House recaps. And that is, the YouTube is Pia Pops Off. And of course, thank you so much for listening, for joining the group chat, for being such a support. We have been having such a great time, and we are at the midway point of Summer House, and we have a whole nother half to go, and I can't wait for you to join the group chat, join the journey, and we'll see you here next week for episode 9 recap of Summer House. But until then, what does Pia always say? Oh yeah, pop on!